thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for a very special episode 346 of the Massenomics podcast, your favorite podcast.
The only
A
podcast.
very long-running podcast with breaking no streaks. The lifting podcast about nothing, formerly known as the world's strongest podcast, the Massenomics podcast, recorded live from Western Northeast South Dakota. My name is Tanner,
And my name is Tommy.
and with no more further ado, we're going to talk for about 40 minutes, and then we're really going to dive into this thing.
Yeah. Just have some
Let's dive right into this.
some very basic housekeeping we have to get through. Really brief. It'll be to the point, but then after 40 minutes, we will
We're going to
dive
really
into
dive into this thing.
it. Yeah. Like all good podcasts do.
We do have an important announcement this week about the future of the Massenomics podcast.
Yeah, we don't make a lot of announcements on this podcast, but there is an announcement
We do
today.
have a very important announcement to get to. But before we go to that announcement, I'd like to announce something else. I'd like to announce our friends over at SPUD Inc. You can check them out at spud-inc-straps.com. And when you're there, they have such a wide array of products. I'm going to rattle off a few things that I think you should check out from SPUD Inc. And keep a closeful watch on their Black Friday sales coming up soon. But check out their Magic Carpet Sleds, favorite of mine. The bow tie, maybe all-time favorite of mine from SPUD Inc. And then if you're a home gym person, what they've done with pulleys and other home gym accessories. Am I good?
Much
Is there
better.
snare in their headphones?
Much better.
Okay.
Way more snare.
The belt squat harness, of course, belt squat belts, training straps, training wraps, and then the gateway gear. So the gateway briefs, they've got single ply and double ply. Kind of if you want to dip your toes into the dark side a little
Or you
bit.
could say dip your hips in.
Dip your hips in a much better way. And then belts, array of belts that you'd probably be surprised at how many different kind of belts they have. Beauty of it, order $75 or more, free shipping from everything from SPUD Inc. And let them know that Massenomics sent you at spud-inc-straps.com. Thank you, SPUD Inc. Also, or did you want to get them with something, or should I get them with another one?
I can hit him with
Okay.
something.
Another important announcement.
Very important announcement.
Cannonball.
Listen up. This episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes.
Grr, baby, very grr.
Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. Do you want to squat or deadlift 1,000 pounds for reps? The only way you can do it is with Barefoot Shoes.
I'd like to.
Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available. And while you're there, use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next purchase. That's barefoot.shoes, code Massenomics. I'll save you 10% today. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thank you, Barefoot. They're great. That's what I always say.
Yeah, it just comes, just something
Just comes natural.
Erupts audio, and you got your barefoot shoes on.
This comes natural. Oh, so we do have the important announcement today about the future of the podcast, but I don't think we want to dive right into that.
No,
first, do
no.
we? Yeah.
We, like I said, we got some housekeeping.
We got
It's just
some stuff to.
so much housekeeping. Where do we start?
We had Big Efren on last week, and he did a really good job sharing
He did.
stuff on his social media, made some cool posts, and he was excited about it. We were excited
And he
about
was a
it.
really fun guest, too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And one of the comments on his post, someone said, yeah, and for all you Efren fans out there, do yourself a favor and skip past the first 30 minutes. And I said, yeah, and if you're going to do that, you might also want to not pay attention to the last 30-ish minutes, and then also don't listen to the first like 344 episodes before that either.
And also, every like 5 minutes after Efren's done talking, you're gonna want to
Just
skip past
plug
that.
your
Like,
ears.
yeah.
Like-
you just only want an Efren monologue. That's all we want. We don't want him to acknowledge that he's talking to anyone here.
Right. That's always such a funny thought to me. We've gotten to have a lot of guests on the show over the years, and the thought of like, I refuse to listen to anyone but this guest I turn in to listen to on your podcast.
And I don't want to hear them even talk to anyone else. I only want to hear them talk.
like,
I don't care what this interviewer does or doesn't have to offer. It does not matter to me.
yeah. And I know I've bitched about that before.
It is funny though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
To me,
right.
that is something that I get excited about when people that I follow or care enough about that I would go listen to them, whether it's on a different podcast or different YouTube channel. A lot of times to me, the exciting part is, they're in someone else's channel. So you're going to get them at a different angle. Like that's the exciting part is they're with a different person.
Yeah.
But to a lot of people, I guess they just want the same track every single time. Like the interviewer does not matter one bit.
You're right. That's the case. So we do have the big news today, but before we get to that, we're going to run down some other things. And we did something kind of cool this week too. We had a cool little experience. But before that, actually, some weather we've been having still.
Still the weather. I tried to use my grill today, and boy, I was not prepared for the like inch and a half of ice that was still
Could you
on
even
it.
get it open?
Because the damn thing is not warmed up yet.
Right.
So, first of all, I couldn't turn any of the dials because they're all frozen. So what I did is I took one of the grill utensils and just started banging away, and eventually these huge blocks of ice come off of it. And I think I got the problem solved, but no, the dials are frozen. So then you got to bang away on the dials, and the whole time you're thinking, am I cracking and breaking all of the stuff that's on here? Luckily, I was able to get the gas loose, get a dial going, and once that heat starts going, it does the work. Does the work so you don't have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weather does still suck though.
Yeah, and for anyone that's also an additional update, I have had wings multiple times again since the last.
Okay, I was
time
going to ask. You said you had circus wings.
I did.
What flavor did you go with?
Medium.
You got to do the double dip.
The only reason I didn't have that, I do want to get that, and I would have. It's just we were ordering it. They're ordering it in at work.
Oh,
so someone was going, and I just like to be
to
easy.
be the difficult one.
Yeah,
it's
like
kind of annoying.
Like because some of the people are super difficult with their orders, and I'm like, just let's keep it simple. Like you're someone
order
else
something off the menu.
and so that's why that's the only reason.
I'll give you a pass.
I actually thought about it. I wanted to. Yeah. And I was thinking it. I'm like, I don't want to explain. I don't want to take
because then the person writing down the order will write like double dipped, and then you'll say buffalo and barbecue. And they're like, I think Tanner's getting a double order, one order of buffalo and one barbecue, and then they show up, and you're like, yeah, that's not what I got. But yeah, you probably did the right thing there.
Still riding high on the flats too. Over the drumsticks.
See, I've never heard them called that. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
And when you said flats, I'm thinking like, did you buy a case of Pounders or something?
No, I think flats is. I did pick up several people, unless they're all just reciting what I say, but several people in the Discord this week were calling them flats too, unless they're just. And maybe I made that up. Oh yeah, because Joey wants to know what is it that you call them.
I call them isn't that the wing?
Yeah, I think that is like the technical, like the literal.
To
wing.
me, one's a wing and one's a drummy, right?
Right. But yet they're all wings.
Oh, well,
right. You order wings.
Yeah, I know, and maybe I'm totally wrong.
No, I think I would agree with you that the flat is actually like the wing, but yeah, always has been.
Flats and drum is the two words that make a wing. Flats, yeah. I guess I don't get out enough.
Wings was a good TV show. That's debatable.
I'm not even sure I know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Have you never heard of Wings?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Assuming it's a Navy thing or something, or Air Force thing.
I think it was like a small commercial airport in some northeast town. Aired in maybe the late 80s, early 90s. That's my swag on what Wings actually was.
My guess would be like an Air Force show of like, here's all these wacky people in the Air Force.
Nantucket. So I was pretty close on a small northeast town, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Wings. I don't think maybe a good show. Maybe it's underrated actually. Maybe it falls into underrated territory.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Being that I don't think I've ever heard. I feel like I got decent TV shows down okay, and I've never heard of that.
Yeah. I've seen it. I have seen a few episodes of it, but It doesn't come highly recommended to me. I haven't watched it as of late. But what we did get to do this week was Massenomics class was in session, wasn't it?
And the students were riveted.
Yes.
They said it was the most valuable class they've ever had in their entire educational history.
Yeah.
K through whatever grade they were in college.
Yeah. So what we did is we presented to a college class via Zoom meeting. They're out of a college in Florida, and it was a specific podcasting class.
I couldn't believe that a podcasting class, one, they have a podcasting class, and that was considered a general course.
Yeah, that was a general class too. So this was probably, first, second year students there in a general course that they were able to take as an elective, obviously. And we talked to them.
Definitely something that did not exist as a class option when we were in school.
No.
Right up there with social media marketing as an option, right?
Yeah. And what else didn't exist yet that we could have had classes about?
Cryptocurrency best practices.
Yes. That's funny though. So I was a finance major.
Yep.
It wouldn't be weird. It'd be almost weird if there wasn't classes specifically about cryptocurrency.
At least part of it didn't discuss it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And how it's a scary place to have your money right now.
Yeah, for a cryptocurrency class, the professor would get up there and be like, I don't completely, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
This class is going to be a lot of metaphors that kind of pertain to what we're talking about. So just bear with me here.
Yeah. Right? And it was a lot of Q&A for our presentation with them. I think we did. Would you say it was all Q&A basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being they told us to not prepare anything.
Right.
It kind of has to be Q&A.
We came pretty prepared, not prepared.
Said you are speaking our language.
Yeah. And we talked for probably 45 minutes, I think, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
And there was some good questions from the group.
Uh-huh.
I think.
There was some not good questions, too.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have we weren't expecting really hard-hitting questions here. They were all appropriate. They were all good. I think one of the better questions we've ever got, someone said, asked what was our proudest part of building the podcast or doing the podcast, or thing we're most proud of. That's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah. What was the answer?
We said the community we built with the Discord.
Yeah, props to the Discord
They are what
crew.
we're most proud of here. Look at them.
Referring to the Discord crew live listeners right now.
Big Alex asked if they asked us over under questions, and that would have been hilarious.
They didn't.
If they had over under.
I don't think anyone, to be fair, no one in the class outside of the
heard
professor was familiar with Massenomics before that. So
maybe one or two of them are familiar now.
Yep. Big Tracy, the professor, hooked it up for us, and I said, let us know. We'll be a resource for you in the future if we can ever
We'll
participate
be your industry
again.
Insiders over here.
Yep. Yeah, and I do think say if there is varying levels of podcasting classes, as a general elective in your first year, to be fair, every general class I was in,
100%.
I was checked out as much as possible. All the time.
Yeah, they were. When I think of the general classes I had, they did an amazing job. When I think of some of those, I'm I don't even know if people knew what class they were in,
Right. And some people far worse than others. Some people were crazy how little, when I got to college, I was like, oh, you can participate that little,
you actually don't have to come. And if you do come, you don't actually have to mentally be here either.
Yes.
You only physically have to be here.
Interesting though, when I first went to college, I don't really remember people being on their phones.
Well, but I don't think you're talking 2000.
That's what I mean. I don't think people would get on their phones, right?
No, I remember.
Well, nobody had smartphones.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was
not smartphones.
I remember
you could have been texting
one of
somebody.
my instructors had the first iPhone 3 because at the time the first iPhone was only AT&T,
right?
Which didn't exist much in this part of the country, AT&T. And I remember seeing that and being like, "Damn, that's crazy! I didn't know people actually had those things." That was my thought process.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton you could do with them right off the bat, but I would imagine that's not how it goes now.
No, Big Matt brought up people bringing laptops to class. People were bringing laptops to class, but I never.
The closest you got then was people on their laptops just
Then
on
it's just like-
Facebook or
yeah.
playing like dumb online
And
games.
be like, dude, you're really clicking and clacking a lot over there for like what we're talking about right now. Like, I suspect you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you're just hammering away at the keyboard, and like, nobody's talking about anything noteworthy at this point. So that was a fun experience, though. I think being Massenomics teachers for a day.
Yeah, and I did enjoy it. It was a good time.
It was fun.
And I actually get to go talk to a local high school class.
Yep.
In a day or two.
And now you
here.
have your canned speech prepared.
Yeah, I get to go talk to him about being creative and some of the stuff I do. So we'll see what gets addressed there. But so we'll have more follow up next week with Tommy presenting to high school kids.
So at like 30 or 40 minutes into the presentation, we said, all right, enough chit chat. We're going to dive right into this thing. then be like, that's your first lesson in podcasting. That one's free.
Yeah, there's a few catchphrases you're going to want to hang on to.
Are you guys familiar with the phrase, you can't ride the line? Be like, get about 10 catchphrases and go to them anytime you don't know what else to say.
Do not deviate away.
And get in an order. It's a rhythm and an order. You can, you can fill like 2.5 hours just with a similar order of events.
On the topic of riding the line, I was going through Instagram the other day, and a person I follow in the music space had a segment where it was just like cycling through people, and it'd show someone on the screen. You have to say if they were underrated or overrated. But he also played it where you could say appropriately rated. And after watching that, I'm like, that actually ruins the segment, because you can just appropriately, and it's just done there. There's nothing else to say.
Right.
You know? And
rhyme lighting is key.
Yeah. And I think of the 5 people, he said 3 of them were appropriately rated. And that makes that not fun at all. Like, because you can't take a side now.
Right. So I don't like that.
And like everything in life, you have to take a hard line stance. There is never, ever line riding in life.
No middle ground.
No. Never.
What do you got, a can over there or something?
I do.
All right.
Let's crack into it. And this is 99% sure a what's in the can.
Oh, well, I better do what needs to be done. And that is for those of you just listening and not watching, I'm donning my protective eyewear so I can't see and I can't cheat.
Tanner's completely blindfolded.
Okay, we've got a can.
I have also, now to make it more intense, I have put earplugs in his ears. I have plugged his nose, and I've spun him around so his senses are all off.
We actually brought in a deprivation chamber into the studio just to be able to play
this is the only. Tanner is in a deprivation chamber, and the only thing in there with him is this can.
It's got a smell.
We need it to be as neutral of a playing field as possible.
Well, that's going to be difficult for me to peg. I can already tell.
Yeah,
I know
I'm trying
off the first.
To actually see if I even remember what the hell this was. Okay. I don't think I would guess this. I have to say, I know I wouldn't guess this. I know I would.
This is a hard. I'm not. I feel like I've done pretty well as of late on these, and I haven't had one a real stumper, and this is one of those ones that's super hard to peg. Let me try one more time. I'm going to have to formulate a guess here, and it's going to be embarrassing of how far off it's going to be on this one. Yeah, that's really tough. It's sweet, but I'm also getting like a little bit of the flowery taste on this one, but a little bit of the fruity taste and the flowery. The fruity taste I'm leaning most towards is strawberry. Not super confident in that.
Okay.
But I still think there's flowery something to it. So, I'll say strawberry lilac sparkling water.
Okay,
that's
actually,
a made-up word.
Take a look here. Okay. You're actually very, very, very close.
It doesn't look close by the color. There's the strawberry on it.
Strawberry mango. And I think the mango does have that weird fruitiness to it.
That mango is would be
very,
so hard to
very
peg.
hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not a mango guy, but I don't mind this. This is pretty tasty.
The strawberry catches me at the end of each drink. I don't notice the strawberry at first. I notice the strawberry at the end of each drink.
I was kind of shocked you got strawberry there, because I was drinking this thinking, I'm not sure I would guess that if I didn't know it.
It's weird. It is sweet-ish flavoring.
Oh, brand. Yeah, brand. This is the Target Good and Gather strawberry mango. unsweetened.
For strawberry mango, it really has more of a, I don't know, like a florally taste than I would picture at strawberry mango.
It's hard for me because
Like there's
mango is
something
such a
almost
weird
bitter about
flavor.
it, yeah.
Mango always just has like a dirty fruit taste to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was funny when I bought these though, because there was an older couple there. They were probably in their 60s. And this is at Target. You know, they have a fairly decent selection, but we're at the point where we've had so many of these damn things that for the most part, the only ones at a store I haven't had are flavors I don't actually want.
Yeah.
Like things with coconut and things like that.
Yeah.
I usually don't want to buy them because I know we're going to have it once on here and then I'll have 10 cans forever that will sit in the fridge. So I typically stay away from some of those. Maybe that's the wrong approach. But so you're like looking hard, trying to decide what you have and haven't had. And this older guy's like, the stuff's just great, isn't it? I go, I'm already laughing because this is the first time anyone's ever made a mention of anything sparkling water in a store before. I'm like, yeah, I think I've had all of them. They're just, they're tough to beat. He goes, well, you got to try them to know what you're into. You just get a different one every time. I'm like, exactly, you do. You got to see what you like.
You're like, have you heard of the Massenomics
And he's like,
podcast?
oh, soda is just so sweet. You know, people think this doesn't taste good, but they're crazy. It's so much better than pop. And I said, man, you're
like, do you know me?
yeah, we just get each other right now. And then he grabbed 2 cases of whatever and took off.
What do you give this out of 5 JD Power and Associates awards? Half points are available.
If we could do quarter points, I would say this is a 3.75, but we can't do quarter points because I'd be riding the line there. I don't think this is quite 4, but I do feel like I like it a little more than some of the 3.5s I've given, but I'm going to stick with 3.5 because I don't care for mango that much.
It's a 3.5 to me.
Yeah.
When you said quarter points, I could almost go 3.25 on this one, but with the sake of no Ryan lighting, outside of our half points that we allow, that's not
this
riding
one
line.
is so much better to me than Ugly Birthday Cake, but I think I gave that a 3, so we're okay there.
3.5, repeating, of course.
Leroy Giant.
Naturally. It's just assumed that the 5 is repeating.
The repeating. Okay. Delicious. For the sake of just mixing up order a little bit, how about a little supporting our supporting members? I know this is not normally exactly when we support our supporting members, but just for the sake of mixing it up a little bit. So supporting our supporting members is a segment we have every week on the Massenomics podcast. It's a relatively new segment, but growing. And we give back a little bit to those people that choose to support the podcast. You can support the podcast also. We have 4 different supporting level options that you can check out on our website. Or what is the direct link if you just want to go right to it?
Massenomics.com/join.
Yeah, and if maybe you can't afford lift shorts or you don't want a closet full of our tees, which that would be insane to me, but just if you don't, but you still want to support, a great option would be becoming a supporting member of the show. And we give back to those people a little bit every week in terms of they get to watch live through the Discord like they're doing now when we record this. They also get early information on drops and a discount code that they can use when you first sign up. And they also get to know early that there was big news coming for this episode this week. They don't know what the news is yet, but they got to stew about what the big news, big exciting news about the future of the podcast could be. So that's some of what you could get by becoming a supporting member. So supporting our supporting members, Big Ian. You might remember Big Ian famously getting the first ever Massenomics tattoo.
Oh,
he got the lift tattoo on his thigh, right where the lift logo would be on a pair of lift shorts. Classic move. One of my favorite. That might be what I'm most proud of to come out of Massenomics is that someone got a lift tattoo on their thigh.
It's in the Hall of Fame for sure.
That's in the Hall of Fame.
Massenomics moves.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Big Ian hit a 20-pound squat PR, and he attributes that in no small part to his lift tattoo. So congratulations, Big Ian. And also just continued congratulations on having that tattoo.
Just keep doing that, man.
Yeah. Big Murloc Jones competed in his first strongman competition. He took 3 second-place event finishes, 2 fourths, and a 5th overall in the open category in his first ever competition against the big dogs. So, well done, Big Murloc Jones.
Good stuff.
Next is Big Zach. Big Zach started a powerlifting team at his school.
Damn, that's taking the bull by the horns.
He literally took the bull by the horns.
That's being the change you want to see in life.
Yes. So he's changing the powerlifting world one lift at a time by creating this team at his school. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is. That's really cool.
And then the garage gym competition was going on right now, and one of the flagship sponsors, Juggernaut AI. We'll hear more about them in just a little bit, but
and we kind of consider ourselves a flagship sponsor.
I think it's Massenomics and then Juggernaut AI.
Like they don't write it that way, but that's how we kind of think about it.
Yeah. We kind of feel like we're the flagship sponsor of everything.
I mean, we practically are like putting on the event, basically.
Right. We do most of the leg work, and we had
the guy that actually does the leg work on. So by default, like that kind of,
so
by association, it means you kind of
right.
do the work, I guess.
And Chad was here, and we told him, hey, you should be a sponsor of
it was all us. Yeah.
So. But we did have several crew members that have started competing in that. I'm not sure if I caught everyone that's updated us on this. If I missed someone, you let me know, and we'll talk about them too. But Big Ryan was in the garage gym competition. He had a 421 squat, 230 bench, 430 deadlift for a 1081 total.
Nice.
Then Big Austin, Mr. Breaking Parallel, hit a 380 squat, 225 bench, 405 deadlift for a 1010 total.
There we go.
Not to be outdone, Big Rich competed. He did a 440 squat, 265 bench, and a 495 deadlift PR. 5 wheels on the deadlift. Always a good PR deadlift for a 1200 total, breaking the 1200 mark.
There we go.
And then Big Andrew also threw his hat in the ring here. He did a 395 squat, 245 bench, a 425 deadlift for a 1065 total.
Knocking it out.
No, well done, crew.
That's some pretty good representation in the
Absolutely. No,
in that event that we came
for
up
us
with.
putting that on, I'd just like to pat ourselves on the
good.
back.
People should, that is a good thing. I like how I'm saying people should do it, and I'm not doing it, but it's a good. I think it's a cool idea. I like it.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do a meet, it's another little thing to put on the calendar to get you to something to train for.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. What? Speaking of Juggernaut AI, is in the spirit of switching up the order of things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Juggernaut AI. Tommy and I both have been running Juggernaut AI for our programming for many months now. I am just in the start of a hypertrophy block.
You are done with your bridge block officially.
Yeah, I'm done with my bridge block onto hypertrophy, and I'm excited to be.
Do you feel like you're bridged out to the max?
I feel like I bridged it. It was maybe. If I had to do another week, it would almost be what they would call a bridge too far.
Does it say that in the program?
Yeah.
There's like 6 weeks.
Seventh week, a bridge too far.
There's week 7 and in parentheses behind it. That's what it says.
Yeah. So I'm on hypertrophy block and continue to use it. Love it. See multiple people at the gym making progress. Flying Ryan actually came back and hit that 315 PR.
He did.
Go off program to do it, so we'll see what Chad says about that.
Right. It might mess up his next 6 months of programming, actually.
Yeah. But what I like about Juggernaut AI is how it's become very adapted to me over time, adapted to a frequency and hitting lifts for my weak points, helping me get stronger as I continue to progress with it. And then I like the phasic structure of it. Like I was talking about the bridge block, hypertrophy, then I'll go into strength, then peaking, of course, after that. And I don't know. It just works.
It
the
does.
proof is in the pudding, right?
I love it. It's it sounds cliche. I have a hard time saying these things because I always think everything sounds cliche and you're just saying the same thing everyone else says. But it really has changed my outlook on training. And as dumb as it sounds, it almost feels like it's giving me a new purpose in the gym because, man, it just came a point where after running so many templates, it just kind of felt like, what am I don't know.
Yeah.
It just wasn't inspiring me anymore. And whether it's having this dumb little thing in my phone telling me what to do, if that's what it took for me to be inspired, I guess that's what it was.
A little Chad Wesley Smith right in your pocket.
But it's working for me, man. It's going good. And I go into the gym every day, very, very excited for that workout. And I love seeing the progress. It's all right there. I'm starting my bridge block now. I was on vacation, so I'm a little sore coming back into it. Not as bad. I went a little easy in the beginning. So I'm not feeling terrible, but I'll get back after it tomorrow here. So.
And the best part about Juggernaut AI is our discount code. Go to juggernautai.app.
It's almost better than the app even.
It's better than the app. We kind of created the app also. It's much like the Garage Gym competition.
Yeah.
We're also mostly responsible for this.
Right.
So make sure when you sign up through the website. It's juggernautai.app, and that's where you can use discount code Massenomics, and it'll save you 10% for the lifetime of the membership.
The lifetime. Because you will have this forever.
For the rest
so
of your
just
life.
assume that this
forever
will be the most longest running bill in your entire life.
Yeah. And should we hit them with one more little?
Oh, that was an ad. I thought
treat?
that was just an organic testimonial.
A little bit of both.
Little this, little that. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
And we did tease earlier that we have some very big news, and I think we should just dive right into it.
Should we?
Yeah.
Should I just come out and say it?
Well, yeah. I think we should let them know.
Okay, so this is not easy for me to say, Tanner. The Massenomics podcast, as we know it, will no longer exist. And you got to let me,
as we know,
I have to finish my statement here. I had an overly dramatic pause, and I may have accidentally kicked the Discord off there
right after that statement. That was kind of
so the Massenomics,
as we know it today. Let
me start that over now that the Discord's been booted. The Massenomics podcast, as we know it, will no longer exist. It will change, and that is because my family and I will be moving away from western, northeast, South Dakota.
Yeah.
And you say, well, where the hell are you going? Not too far away. We're actually going to eastern, southeast South Dakota. It's not too far. It's
if
like,
you know your directions of the compass, you can figure out about how far that away is.
It's down the road. We will be moving. So yeah, we're moving to Sioux Falls. It's for people. Actually, maybe I should back this up, because the majority of people are not from our part of.
Right. It's not.
Should I bring them back in here?
Not. I've been, as we're talking, I'm monitoring their. Okay. There's a lot of activity going on in the Discord with that cut off. We could bring them back, or I don't know, or they just don't. We leave them in limbo for like 4 or 5 days here.
I almost feel bad for them.
Okay,
I almost feel bad.
We'll bring them back on.
Yeah, we got our little prank over with.
But yeah, the Massenomics podcast is not going to cease to exist.
Yeah.
So there will be no break in activity, actually. It'll just be a little bit different. Are they back? Are they back with us now?
Okay, we're back. So, I think the Discord. So, yep, that wraps up our announcement. Discord. Thanks for.
So we hope that you guys all heard that entire thing and nothing cut out.
Yeah,
on you there.
Didn't miss any of the important details there. No, we'll back this up again. So, the statement was the Massenomics podcast, as we know it, will no longer exist. The reasoning is because my family and I are moving to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which means in-person podcasts are going to be very few and far between. We're still going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we have no plans of changing the podcast.
There'll be no podcast interruption.
There will be no podcast interruption. That's
logistically, it's just going to look a little bit different for us on our end. I think as we get it fine-tuned, you won't feel like there is much of a difference, especially even if you're a video. So we're working on the audio visual.
Well, the audio part's super easy, and a lot of people might not realize this. Well, I think we probably mentioned it in the podcast, but if you listen to older episodes, when COVID first hit, I think there was 10 to 20 episodes where we did them all remotely.
Right.
I don't think that really affected the quality much.
And that was, on kind of some band-aided equipment. Actually,
Yes, that was
too. And
like
we're
us
not
not
gonna
having
do
anything.
Yeah, we're going to pull out all the stops with this, such that it'll be more of a permanent solution. But I mean, I suppose at times we'll have in-person ones because it's not like we're on the other sides of the world or anything
and
like that.
That is okay. So yeah, I'm moving to Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is 3 hours from Aberdeen.
Right.
My wife is from Aberdeen. Her parents still live here. I'll be coming back to Aberdeen. It's
Right.
not like it's not like I have no ties to the city.
Right.
I don't think it's unreasonable to think I'll be back a fair amount even.
Yep.
But yeah, the biggest change for Massenomics itself will be no more in-person podcasts, no more regular in-person podcasts.
Right. The regular format will be virtual, but I think with what we're working on, even if you're a watcher on YouTube, because if you don't know, if you've all just been listening for a while, we publish every episode on YouTube, also a decent video presentation. I think even that
Might get improved possibly.
well, and I don't think even if you're a watcher, it won't feel altogether different from you once we have that fine-tuned either. The presentation will actually feel pretty similar.
I think
to
so,
what it
because
is
there
there.
is some really cool stuff out there. We're getting a list of things put together for what we need to do, and it looks like there's some pretty cool options for how we can do this video thing going forward.
Yeah, and something that will feel a little bit different at some point in time is the way that we interview people, because we won't be sitting in the same room at the same point in time. So we may even for a short period of time pause the interview portion of the show as we just fine tune what we're doing.
Yeah, getting used to it.
So there may be a few episodes there where if for those of you that enjoy more of our just us shooting the stuff that we shoot, you might even actually like it better for a while there as we're getting that all the kinks worked out for that.
And when I think about there is some there's definitely you do lose something about being in the same room with someone, but there's also some really cool things we can do between both being at a computer. There's different things we can send us each other. There's different things we can be involved with there. Not being around, we can send each other packages and take a whole nother level to the what's in the can and all that. So I think there's some, it'll be different for sure. I don't think you could say it's going to be worse or better. It just will be different. And I think it's going to be really fun because
some of our South Dakota representatives listening live, someone mentioned, meet up in between. And Big Nathan from Watertown says, yes, Watertown. That's where he lived. And then Big Mo is excited. You're coming to Southeast South Dakota where he's at. Yep. So there is ties all over the place.
We do have a fair number of Discord supporters down in Sioux Falls too.
That's true. Someone did mention, Big Keith said, so no 2023 meet. That's not for sure.
That actually
yet
has
either.
not been decided either.
We do recognize the fact that to put out a deadline to hold ourselves accountable. Like, what about by the end of November, we know the answer to whether there's
because we said we would
pretty
not
confidently know.
Yeah,
the answer.
we if we do the meet, it's not going to be until mid-June would be the absolute earliest.
Right.
It'd probably even be in July, possibly. It'd be mid-June through July.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point, we're still giving you 7 to 8 months of heads up.
Yeah.
Which,
and we would do it in Western Northeast South Dakota. That wouldn't change. Mm-hmm. Quite honestly, you moving doesn't limit us from being able to do that. There's no reason. That won't be the deciding factor of if the 2023 Massenomics powerlifting meet happens or not, honestly. It's just us committing to making it happen and making it special in the way that we would want to make it special.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this on the phone the other day.
Yeah.
We got to make up our mind here, and it's actually, I think, on my to-do list for
it's
either tomorrow or Friday, call Tanner again, get this figured out. So
I admittedly am dragging my feet on it just because I don't know exactly what it's one of those things where I'm like, I can waffle on that one, and it's
it is a lot of work.
Yes,
with everything else we got going on.
Everything going on. But the reward of the fun is tempting though still.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot of speculation of what the big announcement was, but
people asked if I'm going back to a YMCA.
Oh yeah.
No YMCA at this time. There are multiple gym options in Sioux Falls. I have not decided for sure which one I'm going to. I haven't been to an actual real commercial gym in 6 years now, 7 years.
Right.
I mean, that might just totally change my whole life outlook on fitness again all of a sudden. So I don't
You
know.
might get a chance to actually see Massenomics shirts in the wild.
In the wild, or just see the dumbass stuff that people do at an actual gym again.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure. Part of me wants to see that because I've been so shielded from it. I forget it exists. But I don't know. There's a ton of options. I'll get that part figured out when the time comes. And otherwise, Massenomics as a business, we talked about it. 90% of what we do on the business side of things happens during phone calls during the day.
Right.
So that changes nothing there. It just product photos instead of us taking them the day before we do a drop. We'll just be a little more organized and either do them when I come to town or mail stuff and shoot it at different times. Maybe get some different models and set up.
It changes our processes a little bit on how we do stuff, but I think for the listener or the fan and stuff like that, I don't think it'll feel like I really don't know if anything will seem all that much different in the long run.
I don't think so. And if you don't watch the video, it might actually be nothing different on the podcast. Right?
That's yeah.
Like we're talking, everything we're talking about that we don't know how to do. It's just the video with all this stuff. It's
right.
The audio part. There is nothing to figure out. Like that part is so simple.
Part of it's something. Part of it here is actually specific to the guys listening right now on the live stream. Our supporting members. We plan to have the live stream continue, but we don't. It's potential that some of the format of that could change a little bit.
We just have so many weird things going on between recording and live streaming.
Yeah.
And how that all comes together at the end, and then also recording to a different soundboard too. There's a lot of.
I think it's safe to say the live stream will continue. It just maybe it's different in some way. We don't know exactly yet. We don't have every one of the kinks worked out yet, but we're going to.
Yeah.
I think it's not that I know what I'm talking about, to be fair, but
yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
It'll be. I mean, it'll still be good. People will be involved. There'll be a Discord. I don't pay $6 a month to see Tommy remotely. Well, technically, technically, you're seeing both of us.
The
remotely
only
right now.
person that doesn't that this really changes that's now sees you remotely that didn't used to is me.
Yeah. But Tanner, on the bright side, I guess, is recording live from the Massenomics warehouse.
That's true, and
so that could be
the way
pretty
that the
exciting for
camera,
people.
the way that the camera will be set up there is it will be recorded from the Massenomics Fulfillment Center, so it'll be a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain.
There,
on the
that could be
Fulfillment
pretty
Center.
exciting for people.
Yeah,
I'm already have.
I like to call it the Massenomics Fulfillment
There you go.
Center.
Yeah, that is better. A better way to say
it. Sounds really fancy.
I already was thinking about what do I get to do for my backdrop now? There's a whole
yeah.
new, and this sign, you'll have to take the sign. This will go somewhere to the
Yeah.
gym, probably, won't it? Or your house,
Yeah, actually the gym probably.
or your bedroom. Would your wife like that in the bedroom?
like just glowing and be like, no, we're not shutting that off.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah.
The Massenomics sign stays on all the time.
Yeah, it could maybe go in the fulfillment center. The problem with the fulfillment center is literally wall to wall covered. in
Right.
stuff.
It just doesn't make a ton of sense in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Because it would be behind a shirt. But it's the thought that counts, I guess.
We'll figure that out. So stay tuned on that. And also, when it wasn't happening, it's not happening next week.
But it is happening next month.
Right,
so,
right.
We'll have this setup as we know it has probably 4-ish episodes left.
Right.
Yeah. So not a ton of time, but enough time to process what's going on.
Yeah, maybe it's will it be it might be 350. The last one in here could be 350 possibly.
Well, what is it right now?
346.
I think it would be because I think there is actually 4 left.
Yeah.
Because that would be with us doing one extra one because we talked about building a buffer in there.
Okay.
So it would be 350. Episode 350. What do? We're splitting up the podcast.
Surprise.
Just like everyone wanted.
Yeah. Should we say goodbye to the Discord and get Big Co on the horn?
By Discord. There'll be more news on all of that.
Someone
as time
asked if
goes
now
on.
we get 2 billboards, one in Western Northeast South Dakota.
I bet Sioux Falls billboards are way more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, there's way more of them though, so maybe we can find a really seedy part of town.
Supply and demand.
Yep, of course. All right, see you, Discord.
All right, time for Big Co. See if we can get him on the horn. Maybe.
Uh-oh.
Tanner.
Big Co, is that you?
It is me. What's up, man?
What's happening? You're live on the Massenomics podcast with Tanner and Tommy.
What's up, Cole?
Hey, what's up, Tommy? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
You know, just living out one of my dreams right now. You know.
Yeah, so you've been on the podcast a little bit before, but today you're the featured guest on the Massenomics podcast.
Yeah, man, that was the call in special back. What is that, like May or June?
What was that? Was that a special number for us?
Why
were we doing that?
It was just like,
yeah, I think we were just
I think
kind
it
of
was like
doing
put
it.
your telephone number on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Story
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like do it. Yeah.
I think you were probably in training camp at the time, right?
No, dude, because I remember. I think it was like OTAs or something, maybe mini camp.
Okay.
So it's like the camp before camp
Okay.
type of thing.
And now,
But I do remember that because I was still in the hotel that they put me up in.
and now look at us. Bye week. Just came off a big win. I think number 1 in the division right now, right?
Yeah, number 1 in the division is all you can really hope for.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully continue the kind of good streak that we're on right now. But yeah.
Awesome. So for anyone that doesn't know who Big Co is, Big Co has been following along with us at Massenomics for a
Faithful follower.
for a faithful follower for quite a few years here. Been got your first lift shirt many years ago, which that's always a big step. And Big Co,
Yeah, I think like
you know,
2017 maybe.
yeah, 2017.
So were you in high school when you got that first one?
I was in college.
College. Okay.
Okay. And,
I was just I think it was a freshman at Minnesota.
yeah, and Big Co, you're from what would you describe your location in Iowa with directions of the compass?
Oh, central northwest Iowa. Like
doesn't-
right in the middle of it.
It doesn't sound quite as good when the state doesn't have like also a direction in it too,
Yeah.
where it's like
If there's a western and eastern
It's
Iowa.
South Dakota has south in it already. Yeah, it's
Right.
like
right.
it just doesn't quite roll off the tongue as nicely.
Yeah. So then you went and played football for the Gophers at the U of M in Minnesota, and then about the time we talked to you last, you had gotten drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now here you are, several weeks into your first season.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy actually. Just that you said that, just to kind of think about the last couple of months.
Like the last year's really been crazy for you, hasn't it? Like it had to.
I mean, yeah. Did you see yourself here a year ago? Like, was that just a so far crazy thing, or did you actually see that being a thing?
I mean, like, so kind of like the start of last season, we played Ohio State that first week and did pretty well. And I had some agents like talk to me and stuff, but I was kind of like might get an agent and might get like be undrafted, get like a mini camp tryout or something. Like I figured I'd get like a shot. I really didn't figure I'd be have as large of a role as I do currently this year, but it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really been fun to watch too, and going through, you getting drafted, that was super cool. Then we were watching, following along through me and my son were checking every day, like Googling your name and see what the news is, the latest while you're going through training camp and stuff, like just like keeping our fingers crossed that you're for sure going to be the team. And then it became pretty apparent, like based on what we were reading and stuff, that like, yep, he's probably got a spot. And then you get it, you get on, and you've gotten like a pretty sweet amount of playing time. You've gotten to catch a few balls and stuff. It's been super cool to watch.
Catching passes from Tom Brady, like what the hell?
Like that's insane, right? Like what does
never,
that?
Yeah, never in my life would I think that like would happen ever. But here we are.
Like when,
and I think my dad told me this today. I think I'm like up like in Pro Bowl voting.
Really? How do we vote?
Not for tight end, but I think for like special teams, for like covering kicks and stuff, like punt, kickoff.
That would be
Nice.
Because I guess that's like a thing now. So yeah, plug myself there for a second.
How do we vote? How do people vote for that? I don't even know.
I have no idea. I think it's like on it's like the NFL tweeted out something about it. Like it's all on like NFL.com or something. I'm not even sure, but
we'll figure it out and we'll put it like
we'll
in
get
the
to the bottom of
description,
that,
and we'll make sure everyone that's listening goes and just spams as many votes as possible.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's just like NFL.com, something Pro Bowl game votes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start the campaign.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, what was the experience like? You know, so we've Tommy and I have watched Hard Knocks, several seasons of it, and like going through training camp and going through the final cuts and stuff. Is that what it feels like? What they show on TV? Like, at what point in time did you know you were making the team?
So that's kind of the crazy part. I actually haven't ever watched Hard Knocks, so I couldn't tell you how similar, like how I felt is to what they kind of show. They were at Tampa Bay, like I think in 2019 or something.
Yeah.
And a couple of my teammates were talking about just like that experience. But yeah, they kind of said they blow things out of proportion. I mean, it's TV.
Right.
So they kind of blow up the stuff that needs to be blown up to get, watchers and stuff. But basically training camp goes, you have about 2 weeks where it's just like you. There's 90 guys that get invited to training camp, and they whittle that down to obviously the 53-man roster, and then 16 practice squads. So they truly cut about, like 20 some guys. But you have 2 weeks where it's just like 1-on-1, 2s-on-2s, kind of that thing in practice. And then the preseason games start, which is kind of the crazy part. So for me, I was running kind of with the second offense and second team special teams. So I would get, like a decent amount of reps in practice, not none, but not like a lion's share. And so you kind of have like 3 days. So with the Dolphins, we had 2 days of joint practice, a day off, and then we played them in a preseason game in Tampa. And so it's like, from like a practice standpoint, those two practices are pretty much like when they're against the other team, it's pretty much like a game. Like just because of how competitive it is and everyone knows like they got jobs on the line and stuff. So then you kind of go through that. We went to the Titans and kind of did the same thing with them for the second preseason game. And then we ended up playing the Colts for the third one. And, cuts are kind of progressively made after each one of those games. And so I think it's 5 after the first one and 5 after the second one. And then after that third one's kind of the big one. And so after that third one, like I wasn't quite sure if I would be on the team or not. Like sitting at the fourth tight end. Not sure if I'd contribute on special teams quite yet or not. And you're literally sitting in the locker room on that third day watching this admin guy like walk up to guys, say, "Hey, we need your laptop." Like the GM, director of player personnel, wants to talk to you. And you're just like sitting there sweating bullets for a day.
God, yeah.
And then that was the thing too, is like no one even told me that I made it. Like It's just like the no news is good news type of thing. So I was just like,
it was
okay.
literally like you just sat there long enough, and at a certain point, like after like 4 p.m. or whatever it was, you're like, well, I think it's done.
Like I saw on Twitter that they're like, "Yep, final cuts are done." And I was like, "No shit, like I made it."
So that was what it was like. That's crazy. Yeah.
No, it's nuts.
So where were you actually sitting? Like, where was everyone hanging out? Like, what are you doing when you're all just like wait? Like, especially anyone that's on the bubble. Like, what are you just like sitting there just waiting or what?
So it's like the next day kind of just like continues as far as the football schedule. It's like we have meetings or lift, and they could just like come in at any time.
Right.
Like they kind of did a lot of them. I think I remember they kind of did like a lot of those cuts like when we had a little bit of downtime. So like a bunch of dudes are just like sitting in the locker room at their lockers, and you're just like watching them, kind of get fired. It's crazy, man. And it's people's jobs, livelihoods.
Right.
For the most part, like they're trying to make a lot of these guys have families and stuff. And I'm just, right out of college, single. So it's like, I don't have like a wife or daughters, children to support. And when, those guys are getting cut like that, it's just brutal to see, but it's a part of the business.
Well, Tommy and I talked about it, especially like watching you go through the process and stuff like that. Some of the thing, like maybe people that don't follow the NFL that closely or not into that sports, they don't really realize this, or maybe some people just don't think about it. But like the perception is like, professional athlete, you know, they're getting paid millions of dollars, and like
you're on the team, life's good.
Yeah,
you just
like
play and
it's
everything's
easy
all
street,
happy.
and you're making $10 million and stuff like this. You know, it's just kind of like this perception that's out there. But like for most, I would say it's almost fair to say like most of the guys on a roster, it's more so like you're battling for a job and praying you make it, because it's like very famine or feast. Either you make it and you're getting the game checks, or you don't make it, and then it's like, well, now what am I doing?
Yeah, it's 100% that. And I know a bunch of guys that kind of like went through that. One that was with like, that I went to college with, that came up the same time I did. But then also like we had a guy on the team that got cut like middle of the year, just like out of nowhere, just got waived. Like, I forget when that was, but it's just like, it's like every practice, every game, like it's a job interview. And if you're not like locked in and doing what you're supposed to be doing, like you're gone. And that's the crazy part too. Like not only that, like if you're not on top of your game, but just get hurt too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right.
You're protected kind of for like that year. But then after that, it's like you got to show that you can still play, and just the whole cycle repeats itself. So we kind of see, and that's the other thing too, is like kind of talking about like, yeah, it's feast or famine, because like you got to play in the games to get the checks, be on the 53-man for the game to get that big check. But then, a lot of times like guys might play 1 year, might play 2 years, and that's it.
Right.
It's not like there's very far and few between guys that ever make it to the second contract,
Right.
which is kind of where you make the larger sums of money.
Or into their 40s.
Yeah, be 45.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, he's already got like what's that contract he's got with Fox to be an analyst, like 370 million something.
Yeah.
Like he's good.
What's like now that you made it this season and stuff? What's the biggest stuff that people ask? Like, does everyone want to ask you about Tom Brady? Is that like the number one thing that you get asked about from random people? Or what?
Yeah, I don't know, like random people. I just like people in Tampa are more like I don't really like. I can be out in public and people won't know who I am,
But
which is nice.
Some people probably do though. Like they're, like if you're a hardcore fan, you would know. They would recognize you. I would think. Like
I actually I think last Wednesday I was out to eat with a teammate, and we were walking out, and somebody like ran up to me and they're like, "You play for the Bucs?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Co." He's like, "I don't know who you are." He's like, "I thought you were Ryan." He's like, "I thought you were Ryan Jensen." He's like our Pro Bowl center.
Yeah.
It's just like this big ginger guy with long hair.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Do I look like a offensive lineman?" Like it's kind of like hurt my feelings. And he just like didn't even give a shit. And I was like, "Wow, thanks."
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people that once you're over like 250 pounds, everyone just looks the same.
It's like he's just big.
Yeah.
Take a shot in the dark. Yeah. You play football?
Yeah.
Like, well, I
Yeah,
do.
in middle school. Man.
So there is like there's some like a lot of that stuff we talked about is like stressful stuff to think about. But on the flip side of the coin, I'm wondering, what does it feel like, when you play high school football or you play college football, like you're hanging with your buddies and your dudes, and it's fun. Obviously you take it serious and you're trying to get better. You're trying to win games and stuff like that. But
there's
also
so much
endless,
that's just like
it's just
messing
like,
around.
Yeah, you're just like dudes being dudes. Is it like that in the NFL quite a bit too?
I would say for like the good teams or like the teams with like good people on them, it kind of is like that. At the same time, it's more business like. Just because you always have that constant threat kind of looming over you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you're on the field, kind of to perform your best, you got to treat it, like that game that you just love to play. Otherwise, like if you're not loving it, you're not going to want to do it. And that just eventually kind of leaks into your play, and people can kind of tell when that happens. So I think just having that basic, love for the game thing is important, but at the same time, like I wouldn't even tell you like if I would like I don't watch football on my own time.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch a Minnesota game once in a while, but usually when I watch they lose. So I try to not do that either anymore. But like even in college, it was like Sunday would come around and be like, "Hey, you want to go like watch some games?" I'm like, "No, I'm just like don't want to be around." It's like that's work. Right. So it's like, yeah, it's like I don't know. Like a good analogy would be for it. You know, you're just like some business dude, you know, working at a 9 to 5 in a cubicle.
Crunch some extra numbers on the weekend.
Yeah, you guys want to play. You guys want to watch YouTube tutorials about Microsoft Excel. Like, no, I don't. Yeah. That's the last thing I want to think about.
No, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
Was it a pretty sweet feeling though, getting the first game check though? Was that like, yeah, that's sweet?
Yeah, it was. You know, it was kind of just like, and that was the thing with like college football that I kept telling myself too, is like, especially the position I play and kind of how I play the game. It induces kind of a lot of wear and tear. And so it's like, God, is this like worth it anymore? It's like to beat yourself up and you see that first game check, you're like, yeah, I'd probably do worse.
Yeah, you can throw more at me now.
But yeah, you can't complain about it, man, when you're getting paid this much. So just kind of all about perspective.
For sure. So what's the lifting facilities like? What I'm wondering is, like at U of M or in comparison to Tampa, what it's like there. Like how are the team facilities, like the gyms?
College facilities are so much better than NFL facilities.
Like way better equipment, way better space. Like what is it?
Better probably equipment, more space. And like you name it, just like style.
Did U of M? Did you guys have like your own specific football area, or was that shared with anyone else?
We had like an entire kind of football and weight room devoted to just football. But then I think like 2 or 3 years ago, there's like a Title IX thing. So then like the women's rowing team uses it like a couple times a week, like at night when we're not in there.
Okay.
But I would definitely the college ones. If you look at big, if you look at like big college weight rooms, like Minnesota, anything in the Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12, like I guarantee you they're better than 90% of NFL facilities, just because those colleges need them to be nice and as flashy as possible to get recruits, right? To try to recruit, more players and stuff.
Yeah. So what does like lifting look like in season in the NFL?
Pretty minimal, like 2 times a week, 3 if you want to get one in on your own. But it's basically like try to maintain kind of what you had coming into the season, and also like not get you hurt, because the last thing an NFL strength coach or anyone involved with the team or yourself wants to do is like injure yourself, trying to squat more than 400 pounds and miss playing time and miss game checks because of that.
So you're not going to sign up for a powerlifting meet like next week then, you don't think?
No. Not until I'm done with football, that's for sure.
You only got to do something on your bye week, right?
Yeah, let's go. That's what I would do. It was even dumb in college too. But like every break we'd get breaks off, and like we get 3 weeks in May, and then we'd get a week right before fall camp started, and 3 weeks in the winter too. But I wouldn't do it in the winter because we didn't obviously lift as much in season. Me and my roommate in college would always max out our deadlift like a week before camp started, and it was just like, you guys probably shouldn't do that. You just had to.
So what about those couple times a week when you're hitting the gym now? Like, are the strength coaches for the team, like, do they tell you exactly what to do, or do they just give you some guidelines, or do they let you run wild, or what is it like?
I would say it probably depends a little bit. For the most part, they kind of individualize stuff for everyone, but I'd say for rookies, they kind of hold our hands a little bit more than, say like a 10-year vet who kind of knows what he likes and what he wants to do. They'll kind of let those guys do what they need to do. But for us, they kind of just like have, they'll print out a sheet or have it on Team Builder online for us, know exactly what we got to do.
So yeah, you talked about the 10-year, but like if you're Mike Evans, or I'm just picking someone that's been around, that's whatever, that's been there for a long time, that's very secure in his position, stuff like that. Like if you don't want to go to the gym, do you have to go to the gym at all ever? Like, are they like, nah, you need to be here, or is it like, nah, screw you, dudes, I'll do what I want to,
I think in season, it's like we're in season. I think they have to.
Okay.
Like it's mandatory that you do it if like the strength coaches say it. But like if you don't, I think you might get fined.
Okay.
Like I know that happens at other teams. I'm not really sure. Like I think for the most part, like guys are into lift if they're supposed to, at least in season. Like in the off season, it's pretty much like free game. Like you can kind of do what you got to do as long as you show up to camp, in shape, ready to play football.
Right, which is in your best interest, anyways. Obviously, so,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What about if you're Tom Brady? Is it like do any of the other rules apply, or is it pretty much like
do your thing, man?
Yeah.
I mean,
be here on Sunday.
Tom Brady, like
yeah.
I won't say stuff, but I mean it's Tom Brady. Like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
I don't think I've seen him in our weight room a single time.
Right.
But he also has his whole business, TV12.
Right.
So he's got his own like facility here in Tampa.
Yeah.
Which I haven't been to, but I heard it's really nice.
Yeah, he's just the exception to every rule, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I mean he's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing.
Yeah. So you're on the bye week. You guys just got back from Germany. What was it like playing there?
Yeah. So flying east that far sucked. We flew out there Thursday night, like overnight. So like try to sleep on the plane, that type of thing on like this 9.5 hour flight. So that obviously doesn't go too well. And then right when we land, we pretty much like head to the hotel, have meetings, and then go to practice. And thankfully, it was like they took care of us. It wasn't like a hard one, but it was sweet. It was kind of a surreal experience. It was my first time in Europe, but great food in Germany, fantastic. Just like super fresh stuff, and then like even the fans at the game, like they were just. It was like the loudest environment I think I've played in.
So yeah, did playing in front of a German fan base feel different than playing in America?
Oh, it was electric. Because I think like technically it was like a home game for us.
Okay.
Like both end zones were like Buccaneers, but obviously like in Germany. So like they were just loud. Like if we were on offense or Seattle was on offense, like they were just screaming, man.
Yeah.
Like it was intense. But man, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. You brought up something there. We talked about kind of what the lifting's like, and you talked about the food being good there. It reminded me, I was curious, what about nutrition-wise? Like going through, whether it's going through camp, going through in-season stuff like that, like are you guys at all being monitored or told like what your diet, nutrition stuff should look like, or is that a free-for-all?
I would say kind of if you're not along your body weight, they might like force you to do some stuff, but for the most part it's kind of like if you want help and ask for help, you'll get help in that regard, kind of with nutritionists and nutrition. But like if you're not making the right nutritional choices, as a pro athlete, then probably won't be a pro athlete for very long unless you're just like a freak. Like I think who is it, like DK Metcalf from the Seahawks? He like eats like 4 bags of Skittles a
That's
day.
what I was
and
gonna
like,
say. If you're
a
Marshawn
steak.
Lynch,
all
yeah,
candy,
you,
like
you eat whatever you want, I guess, and you still like
I mean,
truck
that's
30
what-
people. It's fine.
that's what you got to think about, like all the guys you guys have on your podcast, whether it be like the strongmen or let's say like, what's that dude's name? PH Deadlift.
Yeah,
Ben
Ben Pollock.
Pollock,
Yeah.
You got these guys who are the top 1% of the 1%, in powerlifting or a strength sport. And, that's what you're dealing with in the NFL is like, you have the top 1% of athletes. So like a dude like Mike Evans,
Yep.
who probably would be in the NBA or in the NFL or in some pro sport league if he just solely wanted to, regardless of any other factors.
Yep.
That's like kind of what you're dealing with for the most part. And then it's funny because then you mix in guys like me who just like had to just grind to kind of get to where they're at nutritionally, weight room wise, like that whole thing. But it's funny mix.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. How many during a week in season? How many beers could you get away drinking? 0, or is there time to drink a brewski or 2?
Oh, there's always time for a brewski. I think we played in our first game was in Dallas and we won. And then I think it was Mike Evans.
I remember seeing you had like a Budweiser, a Budweiser.
Yeah,
diesel,
I think I sent you that snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, first win, first NFL win, first post game beer.
And my thinking was, I was so curious. I'm like, where did the beer come from? And like, are people just throwing it out? Like, where? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So like, I don't even know how it like ends up like showing
beer
up.
guy somewhere.
Yeah. There's just like a hole in the matrix where it's just like a beer can. I don't even know, but like you could buy, because like we chartered flights and stuff. Like you can kind of get away with getting some stuff onto a plane, and
right
if you wanted to. So a lot of times on the way home. What's up with like Kirk Cousins and like Taylor Heineke with the chains and stuff? Like Heineke, you had a Busch Light. Like you don't gotta look too far.
Yeah. Those are the things I'd really like being close and personal to see some of that stuff. That's the cool stuff, I think.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and that's at the end of the day too. Is like back to like people asking me like, "What's Tom Brady like? What are all these guys like?" Like they're just guys.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's like they're human beings that, they just happen to have a job where they make a lot of money and get a lot of public notoriety.
It's just like any group of people. Like most people are pretty cool, and then in there's probably like a few people are probably kind of our dicks, and that's just like
How
like
it always
any group.
goes.
Yeah,
That's the way life goes, man. Yeah. 100%, without a doubt.
Yeah, that makes sense. Big Co, I think you're kind of familiar with a little game we like to play called Overrated, Underrated.
Oh, yeah.
And we came up with a very special Kieft set of topics here. So,
geez, let's do it.
We'll fire them off to you, and it's just your job to decide if each one's overrated, underrated. But you can't ride the line. You've got to, decide on each one whether it's overrated or underrated. So
no explanation given or what?
No, you get to explain as much as you want.
As much or as little as you feel necessary.
You can go into each one for like 20 minutes, and we'll just go along for the ride. So, okay,
let's hear it.
All right, overrated or underrated? Okaboji.
Ooh, I think, and I might catch some flack. I'm gonna say overrated.
So for anyone that doesn't know, maybe some people aren't from the Midwest like us. Maybe they aren't familiar with Okaboji. Maybe explain it a little bit.
Okaboji is this chain of 3 lakes. I would say in what would I call that? Eastern Northwest Iowa.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Eastern Northwest Iowa. And they're pretty big lakes, but I mean it's just packed. Like every inch of each of those lakes basically has a property on it, and it's a lot of fun. I would say it was probably more fun when I wasn't 21 than now anymore. But I would just say it's so busy every time you go there. And there's just so many people that's just like sometimes you want to be on a lake and just kind of like, live slow, get away from all that. But when there's just like that many people there, man, it's just like too much going on. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say I love it. Like I'm good for like a once a year Okoboji rip, but that's like it. It's like the Las Vegas of Northwest Iowa.
I would say it's like the Las Vegas of lake life. Like it's not like you said where you go to a lake and you're gonna have some fun and relax. And it's like no, you go there to party. Like that's the point of that place.
Like it's definitely 100% the heart of it, and it's just like too much sometimes. Like, I actually the last time I was like really there for an extended period of time. Was a summer of 2019, and me and two of my roommates borrowed my parents' camper and camped there in Okoboji 7 days straight.
Ooh,
and that was just that, dude. I think I needed dialysis after that.
Your
days.
parents
Like,
were
that
okay
was
with you
rough.
taking their camper to that?
Yeah, God bless their soul. We took good care of it. We honestly, the only thing we really used the camper for was sleeping.
Yeah, just to crash. Yeah.
Oh, just a crash.
All
Overrated.
That's good. Okay, overrated or underrated? Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I don't know the guy personally,
Right.
And like I said earlier, I don't really follow football that well. He's having a great year. What do I see? Like, there's always like, is he good? Is he not? Is he good? Is he not? So I'd say like
what I kind of like
rated.
about him is how he's kind of like they kind of play him off as kind of like I don't know, like dorky or something. Just like kind of
like the dorky kind of like everyman guy.
Right. I kind of
Like he's probably an actuary. Like if he didn't play football, he'd be like an actuary for some insurance company. I'd say perfectly rated just because of that. Like just exactly like the yin and the yang of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's good. In a different, like in an alternate universe, would you have liked to have got drafted and got a shot to play for the Vikings? Would it have been cool to stay in Minnesota?
I mean, yeah, I think it would have been cool. Yeah, either way, like you're playing in the NFL, right?
Yeah, yes.
Like a part of me loves Minnesota, and I think eventually someday, might live there. But I think it's been good to just get away because I've been there for 6 years. So I think it was just good to get a change of pace, but love that place. So
you're going to get a little different winter experience that we're headed into right now this year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. 75 here today is like almost 80. And, I'm going to fly into a high of like 19. So, we're going to see how I handle it, see how much I miss it.
Yeah. It's been winter. It took a while, but man, when it showed up here.
Yeah.
It does, man.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? Fullbacks, the fullback position.
Oh. I want to say underrated, but I kind of want to do perfectly rated because they're kind of coming back now, and everyone's kind of like fullback. So I think there's a good balance there. I'd say they're perfectly rated.
Like you're, I don't know what sets you guys run out of and stuff, and I don't really know the lingo that well anyways, but you being a tight end, you were getting like at least earlier on, especially, it seemed like a lot of your reps you were like coming out of the fullback position, and maybe like you guys didn't hold a normal roster spot for a fullback, but you were getting to do that.
That's kind of, that was a kind of a big thing in me making the rosters that I'm kind of able to do that. That just, I mean, it saves technically a roster spot. because I can play normal tight end and fullback. So, yeah, dude, at the end of the day, it's like they want me to do whatever. Like, if you're going to pay me, I'll do it.
For sure. But
Go line up at fullback and trap a shade. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. And obviously you're an excellent blocker, and I think you're probably well known for that. But that first catch you had was a sick catch, though, too.
Oh man, I was running that route and looked back, and I was like, in my mind, I saw the ball in the air. I was like, holy shit, he threw this ball.
He threw
And
it to
like,
me.
to catch that back shoulder ball, that was definitely a cool first catch in the NFL. Wish we would have won that game. Could have had some plays in there to help us win that game too, but it was definitely cool. Surreal moment that I'll remember forever.
Yeah, were you tempted to like track down that ball and keep it? Like, is that an option? Can anyone just keep any ball that they want to?
I think you could. My agent was kind of like, "Hey, you should like try to keep that ball," but I was like, it's whatever.
Yeah,
maybe I'll get a
right.
Definitely not in the moment. Like I was just like handed it to the ref. I was like, "Okay, what's the next play? What's the personnel?"
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think hopefully, we win a couple more games, win a Super Bowl, and I'd be like, "Hey, Tom, man, sign a football for me here."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll buy a Tom Brady jersey and ask him to sign it for me.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. All right. We did Kirk fullbacks. Now this one's kind of worth all the marbles. We usually save the best one for last. So overrated or underrated, a Juicy Lucy.
Ooh. Underrated. Solely because I do not think enough people know what they are.
Yeah, so explain it to people that might not know what it is.
So Juicy Lucy is a hamburger, like any normal hamburger shape, probably a little thicker, but they basically mold the patty around some cheese, depending whatever cheese you want. So they take like a cube, rectangle. I don't really know how they do it. I've never seen them make it. But they'll mold the ground beef around the block of cheese and then grill the burger with the cheese inside of it. So when you bite into it, that's where the cheese is. You don't just like place the cheese on top after the fact. And it's delicious. The cheese melty, but it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. If you get it too early off the grill, you're gonna get some
third-degree burns.
You're gonna get third-degree burns.
It's a hot pocket conundrum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's molten cheese for sure.
And it kind of is. Isn't Minnesota where it supposedly all started?
Oh, I think there's it's in the Twin Cities. It's either St. Paul. I think somewhere in St. Paul. There's 3 different burger joints in the Twin Cities that claim to have been the originator
of the Juicy Lucy.
So I'm not exactly sure. Don't know the entire history of it, but it did originate in the Twin Cities.
Yeah,
they are delicious. I enjoy them. Yeah, it's a good change up.
It is. I ate at one of them and I don't know what one it was. And I remember the people were being like, "This is where Juicy Lucy started." I'm like, "Damn, that's really cool." And I don't know how I ran across it, and then I found out exactly what you said. They're like, "No, there's a handful of places that claim to all have started
the
it."
original
So
Juicy Lucy.
that one's up for debate.
Oh yeah. Good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So that's right up there with catching a pass from Tom
Brady.
Guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd agree for the most part with everything.
Yeah.
Any no hot takes? I didn't really have a hot take because.
I mean, the biggest hot take for us would maybe be, depending on the year Kirk Cousins is having, you could maybe change the over, or I should say even the week.
Yeah,
I could maybe change my opinion on that one. But, at the moment, he's playing pretty good.
No, for sure. They're doing well, man. 8-1. Having been an athlete for a Minnesota sports team, albeit not a pro one, the curse waiting with Minnesota sports. So we'll kind of see how it plays out down the road.
Yeah, there's some
Maybe
ups and
play
there's a
them.
lot
Maybe
of downs.
play them in Minneapolis. Play a game in Minneapolis in the playoffs. You know, you never know.
Road through US Bank Stadium, maybe.
Never know, man.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But
we'd have to beg, borrow, and steal to get tickets for that one.
No kidding.
Oh, geez, I'd probably have so many people coming at me for tickets
Oh,
to that.
God,
That would-
I bet-
do people do that? Do you get that a lot? Like this year, are people like
yeah, you'll get random people on social media. Like I probably had 10 or 15 people from Germany like DM me on Instagram being like, hey, like it's impossible to get tickets. Do you think you can give us a ticket? And like these don't respond, but
do you guys all just like, is that a thing? Do you guys all just get tickets to pass out to people? Like, is that even a, like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I never even thought
like,
about that.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
do
even
you
think-
have 10 tickets with your name on it for every game?
Right.
no.
Right.
So you get 2 free tickets to I think home games.
Okay.
And you still have to pay taxes on those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then outside of that, I think you can have up to 8. So you can buy 6 additional tickets for whatever like market price for that game is. So it can like change from week to week depending on how many tickets you want to like get.
Right. So you don't have 50 tickets to pass out to every dude that you said hi to like 13 years ago.
No, no, not a chance. Even if I did, wouldn't be doling it out like that.
Well, yeah, it's a funny thought. Like, if you did have some tickets, it's like, yeah, dude, like I'm probably gonna give them to my family, like not you, some guy asking me on social media.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I had calc with you. Remember me? No. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, that's funny.
But not too much, man. I'm trying to stay low key. Kind of have been low key, like obviously.
Do you have now that you are, technically on an NFL payroll, do you have like any crazy purchases in mind? Like, I don't know, like maybe getting like an 80s Buick and like spray painting your face on the hood or anything like crazy like that?
I've had some thoughts. The craziest, probably the most expensive thing I bought was a used truck.
Okay.
I did just buy a PS5, which was a little bit of a splurge for me.
Yeah.
But
used truck right now is pretty freaking expensive. Like,
oh yeah,
like
dude,
Tommy and I have
tell me
talked about it. You can spend like more money on a used truck than like what a lot of people think is like an expensive sports car at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Seriously, it's killing me at the moment. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
When the need's there, you just kind of got to get it. So,
Well, and you've got
been able to move down to Tampa without one.
Yeah, you got a pair of lift jorts, so that's up there in your like vaulted, with your gold chains and everything else.
Dude, I have like 4 or 5 teammates that are like, I would like a pair of those.
We should have more in a few weeks here.
I'd like a pair of them too.
Yeah,
if the damn things that ever show back
Yeah,
up.
we got more coming, so eventually we'll
Yeah,
be
just
able
sound like McDonald's hotcakes.
to. They can't keep them in
I
stock.
can't.
No, man. Like the Shamrock Shake.
Talk about Juicy Lucy. You should see some dudes in a pair of lift jorts.
Oh man. Seeing no, why am I forgetting his name?
Oh, Jonathan Oldham, Bacon and Barbells.
Oh God,
I knew you were
man. He's
talking
like the king of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like what he just posted a video. Was that today or 2 days ago? He was
Every
like,
day.
Rip my jorts. So figured I'd cut him off and squat 700 pounds for 5 reps in them.
Yeah.
Just like he has a permanent
Like,
Speedo on,
dude.
and if the Speedo isn't appropriate, like jorts are over the top of it.
Yeah.
I think he made me buy a shiny C Speedo. I think that's like my sole swimsuit that I have in Florida right now. Is like a jean print Speedo.
I think he is like their leading. He's got to be like their leading.
Yeah, he's told us some stories
influencer.
about his time with them too.
Yeah.
That's some social media marketing, man, is nuts to me. It's kind of weirds me out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very
pimping
weird.
yourself out for some clothes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Not that that's wrong, and I would love to do it for Massenomics.
Well,
You guys
that's completely
you guys-
different.
You guys have morals.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not like those other people. Yeah.
No,
We're way
no,
different.
that's just night and day different. Yeah, man, this is awesome. Next time, after the season or whatever it is, next time you're in closer in the area, like in Iowa region, we've got to get you to come make the drive a little farther north up to western northeast South Dakota and come
Dude,
maybe
I
get a
for sure will.
lift in the gym, something like that.
That would be glorious. I will, because I will drive back up here eventually in the off season to do that. So
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be
I have to
awesome.
make the return trip. Man, I feel like we're talking about football the whole time.
Yeah, probably. We have to do another one and just talk about strictly about lifting.
Oh yeah, man. That's my true love. That's why I've followed you guys and all these crazy dudes.
So if you weren't playing football, like, would you be involved in lifting in some way or training?
Like if I didn't make the NFL, if I didn't
Yeah,
play football,
yeah. If you were,
let's say I didn't. If I didn't make an NFL team this year, immediately probably would have tried to get on a cycle just to see how that is.
yeah. So, like, what are your what are some of your best numbers that you put up before? We should have talked about that for sure. Yeah,
I think like the best squat that I ever did in college was 465 or 485.
Yep.
For 7 reps.
Oh, damn.
Nice.
And you're
Wasn't
you're like
terrible.
what, 6'5" to
6'5", 260.
Yeah.
Bench. I don't know. I think my like true heaviest 1 rep max is like 385.
Yep.
And I think I ended up doing 345 for like 4 reps before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess if you weren't playing football, like in a matter of like weeks, you'd probably be like, and if you're like, yeah, now that I'm not playing football anymore, I'm just lifting, you'd probably be benching 4 plates and just
Now that all I have to recover
Yeah.
from is just a workout.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, because now too, I'd be a strength coach, so I'd just be there all the time in the gym.
Right.
But that was kind of my, and it's still my question. It's like, what way do I want to go post football? Do I want to see how strong I can be, or do I want to like try to get a 6-pack? Because I like never had one. I've always kind of been like quote unquote skinny fat. You know what I mean? Like that. The power lifter that says he's going to bulk up a weight class and like never comes out of the bulk. Just kind of like
Well, between your options, I have been told before that strong is never wrong. So I don't know if that helps
strength
you
is
at all.
never a weakness.
Yeah, weakness is never a strength. We've heard that one before. Yeah, strong is never wrong.
Strong is never wrong. I like that. Well, then too, if you do that, you bulk up a little bit. You got more mass for the cut. Like
That's true.
Yeah,
You got to make sure there's something there.
that's fine.
Right.
But yeah, I'll say that, if I ever get on again, that would take too much time. But the lifting for sure is my love. Is the reason why I'm playing in the NFL right now.
Yeah. So is that what you went to school for? Strength and conditioning when you were is that what your major was in?
Oh, I was a freshman. I was in biology. I wanted to go to med school.
Oh.
And then through a series of events, it was either be a biology major or be on the football team. So ended up trying to like figure out kind of for like a semester, like, all right, what am I going to be? And just like had loved lifting, and like my dad was a high school coach, so I knew I'd like being a coach. And I just kind of found paired my love of strength and conditioning, and was like, it's kind of the route we're gonna chase. So I think that's what I might try to do this off season. Actually, is take the CSCS.
Yeah.
And get that certification.
Yeah, you got that lift shirt and never looked back.
Literally, man. You guys and Huck Finn sucked me into it.
Yeah.
You still get brought up on their podcast like every other week.
Yeah, but I think it's probably a competition. What gets brought off more often, Massenomics or Huck Fit or Kieft on the Let's Get Stupid podcast. It will be fun to rub it in though, because they've never called you to be on the podcast, have they? Before, I don't think. Yeah,
I even got Huck even came to one of my games last year, dude.
Did he get kicked out?
He got kicked out. He got thrown out. It was hilarious.
Was that when he was like, he had his shirt off and he was throwing the beer everywhere?
That's like every game he goes to, though.
Yeah, he had like all those Bears games he goes to. So I don't know. You have to ask my roommate in college, Bailey Schoenfelder, who was from Huron.
Yeah. Oh no, he got kicked out of the U of M game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes. And Bailey was like with him.
So your roommate is.
I don't remember all the details.
Is from Huron, then, right? Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I remember seeing him. We were playing Miami of Ohio. I remember they like showed him on the video board for like probably a minute straight. And as soon as they put the video board on him, like he somehow just found like 4 beers. So it was just like trying to chug them, but like spilling it all over himself. And then, I don't know. He was like, somebody was telling him, I don't remember the whole story. You'd have to ask him, but I think it was something along the line of somebody basically wanted him out, and then he was like, fuck you. And then they just asked him to leave. So he just left. But then he was at the tailgate after the game, and he was just gone. Oh, he was so drunk. I thought my mom was gonna kill him.
We've been around him when he's been like that before.
Yeah.
Right? We can.
He's an animal, man. You can't.
We've seen it before where I'm pretty sure his own wife wants to kill him. So
there's just not an off switch there once it gets going.
No, yeah, man, he is blessed for sure. With that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good when it remember at the Arnold that year when he was just bombed like at the end of the day and he's doing the worm out in the,
and at one point we're like, how the hell is he still going right now? Like
it's like he had drinking well over a case of beer throughout the day, and then he's like in front of a bunch of people doing the worm, like making an enormous
and
scene.
Then all of a sudden he's like just like running around with this midget like held over his head, and it's just like every time you look you're like, I don't get how this is even happening right now.
Yeah. Oh man,
Alpha.
He literally his beer bong bench videos are like, what kind of ensnared me and all my cronies into the world of social media strength world.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's perfect. I remember the best, like one time at the Arnold when their booth was across from ours or whatever, or maybe we were at theirs or something. And there's a big crowd around him, he's shotgunning beers or drinking beers with people. And a couple dudes walk by that they probably lifted, but they're probably more into, I don't know, they're wearing like stringer tanks and just,
they're just some bro lifters.
Just some bros. And the one, I'm right next to him and the one goes to the other and like, what's the deal here? Like, who is this guy? What do they do? Or what's he do? Or why do people know him? And the other guy goes, well, I think he drinks a lot and lifts. And the other guy's goes like, oh, and then they turn around and just walked away. And I'm like, those guys probably aren't my people.
This is not your audience.
Right.
No, definitely. That's like, you can't get much better than lifting weights and drinking beer, either separate or together.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's the best.
Awesome. Well, Co, this is good stuff. I think the people are going to be excited to hear this one.
Tommy Tanner, appreciate the opportunity to be on. Gonna have to get out to Aberdeen this spring.
Yep, you let us know. We'll make it happen. We usually bust out the limo whenever anyone important comes.
Yeah, we'll roll out the red carpet.
Oh no! I'm from the Midwest. I don't need any special treatment.
Party bus then.
Tanner.
We'll get the
party bus.
Yeah, we'll get the party bus.
I'm driving my shit box straight to the gym.
That's right.
We'll go crush some beers in the bed.
Excellent. All right, man. Sounds good. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Cole.
See you, gents.
See ya.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
He got the cool bean. He probably needs cool beans in that hot Florida weather.
That's a good thing you gave him a double serving of cool beans. That
cool him down.
Yeah. 75 degrees. Geez, must be nice.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like.
Talk about some weather they've been having.
Same weather we kind of have all year. So we got the peek behind the NFL curtain there.
Yep, that's fun. What makes Co so cool? He's a very just a dude. Fun dude. You know.
Yeah, I did not realize that he's from actually that close to South Dakota before this started. In my head, it just feels like Iowa is the east side of the state. I didn't realize he was way over on the west side. So
right, and he's also got that connection with his roommate. Being from Huron, so we've got that tight connection there too. And I bet we'll get him up here some point in time to come check out the gym and stuff. So that would be fun. I would be looking forward to that.
Yeah, it would be a good time.
Yeah. My son would shit his pants because,
a pro athlete? What's going on here?
My son Jack is a Buccaneers fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, you technically, you are Tanner.
Fan. Yeah.
You could, actually, it's on the record. You can go back a long time.
That's
on
true.
The podcast.
I have always been a Buccaneers fan, actually. Yep. But to be fair, Co being on the team has made me care much more than I care.
Love for the team.
Because and actually my son being into football, that's probably the bigger thing. But he was, by far more excited about Co being on the podcast than anyone we've ever had. He wanted to come tonight. He's like, "Can I come?" And I'm like, "Well, we sit there for hours without even podcasting. You wouldn't really."
There's a good chance you would be sleeping by the time we get to.
Yeah, Co's not going to be here. I'm like, someday we'll get him up here and we can come hang out then. And so yeah, he's
put on a blocking clinic for children. Show them how to
with some actual demonstrations where Kieft runs at them full speed.
He'll be at 100%.
Pancake blocks everyone.
Yeah, this is how you play in the big leagues.
I bet
kids.
Co could run over 30 10-year-old kids until they tackle him.
Just be like dominoes, just knocking them down.
Yeah, he is an impressive blocker and stuff. He is good at what he does.
On a surface level, it's like, well, yeah, you just get in front of someone and stop them, but it's a whole different game.
When he talks about some of the guys being freaks and like him working hard, and no doubt, I guarantee he works extremely hard, and the weight room is a big part of it. But also, he's not to sell himself short. You don't get to the NFL without being a little bit of a without being 6'5" and
good genetics.
He's obviously he's no
an
slouch.
Anomaly himself.
Yes. He's no slouch in that regard either. Big Co. Now, if he made the Pro Bowl as special teams, that would be
really cool.
It's that's got to be a ticket to making the roster for a couple of years. I think I made the Pro Bowl.
You would think
you can't not you got to keep me around for a while.
Yeah, or at the very least, be in the NFL for a while. Then, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Have that on your resume.
For sure. Well, that was good stuff. You know what else is good stuff, Tommy?
What? I always want to know. You seem to have all these good stuffs over there.
I'll let you know what's good stuff right here.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
Never gets tired watching that commercial.
No, and you've heard of the turkey trot before, where people go run a 5K for Thanksgiving. Not anymore. It's the turkey pull, brought to you by the Strength Co. this year, where I think if you haven't gotten signed up, I don't know if you still can. Maybe you still can. You can check it out. Check out the Strength Co. Instagram and the Strength Co. website. You'll find. But you order a shirt, you get in on it, and instead of doing a 5K this year, because who the hell wants to do that? You do a deadlift, and you get to be in on the virtual turkey pull event the Strength Co. is putting on. That's a pretty cool event.
Way more worthwhile than running.
I would think, we should as long as we're taking credit for things, like, let's just call it our Turkey Pull event, and you get in on the Massenomics / Strength Co. Turkey Pull.
Yeah,
event.
I mean, it basically is. We'll just claim that already.
We'll just take credit for that too.
Yeah.
That is a fun idea, though. I like that.
I do too.
And so get in on that if you still can, and if you've already signed up. I think you got till maybe like the 29th to film your deadlift, and good idea, cool stuff. The Strength Co.
Very good. And I'm rustling my papers over here. Just have so many files. These papers piling up. This episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded Swisslink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items for military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for Swisslink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At Swisslink.com, you can find classic military surplus uniforms, a great selection of military-issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. Swisslink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from Swisslink.com with code MASS at checkout. That's code MASS to save 15% at Swisslink.com. Thank you, Swisslink.
You know what I was thinking the other day? I just went through the gym and I was taking pictures of all of our podcast sponsors and put it on our story. Mm-hmm. The only one we don't have a flag or a banner up now that we have the Barefoot, we added that one. We don't have a Swisslink. So I got to do some looking to see if they have a flag or a banner or something like that, a Swisslink. And then I thought, at the least, we could just get a Swiss flag and pretend it's a Swisslink flag.
A flag, and we'll just write the word link on it. It's just like
Swiss link.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah, I like that. They got to be represented down there.
Yeah.
We got to get them.
So we'll
do some digging.
We'll do some digging on
See what
that,
we come
right?
up with.
Yeah.
Or like one of their wool blankets. We'll just put that on the wall and say
a decorative wool a throw.
You have all these banners and a decorative blanket on the wall.
You have one of those.
What's the story here, guys?
Yeah, one of those. What are those called? Those kind of blankets like that again? I forget, but
wool.
Yeah. But there's a certain pattern when it's like that white and green and yellow and red. It's like a white base, and then it's got like green, a Hudson Bay.
Oh, well, probably.
Maybe I'm just making that
No,
up.
that
What's a
sounds
Hudson
right.
Bay blanket?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is what comes up.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at me learning stuff today.
It was one of those things I don't really know what I'm talking about, but a type of wool blanket traded by the Hudson's Bay Company, HBC, in British North America.
And this must have been like their signature color line.
Yeah, I guess so.
Damn, this stuff is not cheap.
No.
Like when you type it in,
if you have authentic, we have a couple. The reason I know a little bit about this is because my wife, she really likes these, and we've got a couple like
the cheap ones are $330.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I got to step up my blanket game, I guess.
Yeah, Hudson Bay, I think, is no joke.
That's where
that's why that's almost a decorrative throw at that. You got a $600 blanket. Like, do not cover yourself up with that thing. That's going on the wall.
Get your dirty oils on this blanket. That's on the wall where it collects dust.
Is a $500 blanket. Do not fucking touch that thing. Like, that is not meant to keep you warm.
For human use. It goes on a wall and it stays there.
Yeah, do not snuggle up in this thing. That's a Hudson Bay blanket. Don't you know what that is?
Yeah.
Like, no, not really.
There's rules in this household. No one touches the Hudson Bay blanket.
Yeah.
It looked great on the wall next to a Massenomics neon sign, actually.
That's true.
Actually, a Hudson Bay blanket on each side of the sign would look really impressive.
There is a lot of room in just like my just general basement walls that the Massenomics sign could go.
With the strobe, I don't know if we've ever turned it on here.
Effect. We'll do that for episode 350.
There you go.
We'll do the entire episode in strobe.
And all the other lights in here will be off, so you basically can't see us, but just a strobing light. YouTube will put some epilepsy warning on the front of it without us even knowing.
Yes.
Kids would think that's cool, the strobe effect, if that's going all the time.
That's true. It'd probably get broke.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thing about kids, they break stuff.
They're great at it.
It's like they think they're Limp Biscuit or something.
They're freaking Fred Durst out there. Get that.
Red hat to the back and breaking stuff.
Yep. Nothing stands a chance.
Did it all for the nookie, didn't they?
Kids for you.
Doing it all for the nookie.
Yep.
Do we got anything else that we need to hit on this week? Let me just check my list to make sure we didn't miss anything, super time sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't play Has He Seen It this week.
Oh,
We'll save
damn,
that
we
for
did
next
not.
week.
That's fine. Whatever you want to do.
I don't know. Is that a streak thing that we have to do?
Maybe it kind of is now because we've been sticking to the years.
Do we got time to just
Oh,
do
yeah.
a Okay.
We've been going after.
Okay.
We got 15 minutes still.
We'll do Has He Seen It, and then we'll close out this episode. Okay.
Then land the plane.
Yes, then we'll bring this one in for a landing. I struggled a little bit with 1995. A lot of different options. We're getting to. I think as we get out of like 1990 and more into 1995, I'm going to struggle with because there's just so many choices that I think are fair,
Legit,
good
fair
choices.
ass, yeah.
I'm taking 2 off the board, like we took Dumb and also shocking. I couldn't believe the number of people in like the sport that said they haven't seen Dumb and Dumber.
Okay,
that's disturbing.
I wasn't exaggerating the last episode.
But you said I don't think there's anyone that listens that hadn't seen Dumb and
I
Dumber.
wasn't just like saying that as a figure of speech. I actually didn't think there was people that hadn't seen that movie, unless you were like 4 years old,
right?
Like right now, like you're a baby. I thought everyone had seen that movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, or maybe if you're 20 right now, like, would you have been
even
less
there?
inclined?
If you're 20, I feel
mean,
like by the time you're 20, you've gone to high school, and if you haven't gone to college, you have some friends that have, and you just watch dumb movies, especially comedies. Maybe that's changed too. Maybe you don't watch funny movies anymore.
Back in my day, we watched Dumb and Dumber.
Just watch dumb movies all the time.
Well,
And
also, like,
this is a
back
guy
in
that
my
hasn't
day-
seen many movies, and I feel like that's all we did.
Back in my day, you had cable television, and Dumb and Dumber was on cable television
Nonstop.
all the time.
Yeah, I do forget about that part. Actually, not a lot of people have cable anymore.
No,
so if
nobody does,
Netflix doesn't have Dumb and Dumber on at that time, or whatever,
And
you
also,
subscribe
like,
to,
it was a different formula before. You had to watch something that was
you
on
didn't really have the
television.
choice.
And now you have
You were
the
just
choice.
force fed stuff before.
I do feel like you're less inclined to watch something like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective or Dumb and Dumber or any of those things now. When you're like,
And now as soon
no.
as it starts, the first commercial break, it comes on. You're like, why am I wasting? I don't
Right.
need this hour-and-a-half movie to be 3 hours long.
I did actually want to watch. Now, since we talked about it, I did want to watch Ace Ventura with my son, and it was not streaming on. I had to.
Anything?
It was not free on anything. I'm like, I'm not paying $4 for this movie. It's
yeah,
barely worth
that is
watching
annoying.
again for free.
But bringing it up, I was talking about Ace Ventura last week, and I forgot it is actually one of my wife's favorite movies.
She commented even
yes,
on the meme.
she loves.
Yeah.
Her and her sister both love Ace Ventura. They
The
think
first one or the second one?
both of them.
Yeah.
They love both of them. They think they're
They're
so
good.
funny.
I had Jack all hyped on it, and then I'm like,
Oh, so he hasn't seen it yet?
no.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Like
Oh,
we've
man.
gone through the Austin Power. You know,
Yeah.
I take him through these.
Oh, as a kid,
like
Jim Carrey, just how insanely goofy he is.
Jack has
That's
seen
fun.
pretty much the entire Adam Sandler library worth seeing. You know, the hits, the top, the 90, the ones you should watch. He's seen like the Austin Powers ones now. And then like when we were talking about Ace Ventura, I went to him right away. I'm like, we got to watch the Ace Ventura movies. That you're going to love these. Like, as in explaining to him. And then I'm like, great. Now we got to pay $4 for this stupid movie. Like,
Sometimes
nobody
it's
should
the
be
price
paying
you gotta
money
pay
to watch
It
Ace
feels like it's
Ventura.
too old and just too dumb of a comedy to charge for.
Yeah. So I am taking 2 off the table just because we've talked some of these. If we've talked about them 20 times on the podcast, I'm not going to ask you if you've seen it before or not because
Well, you're assuming I've seen it, or I have seen it.
I know you've seen these
Okay,
two.
okay.
The 2 that are coming off the table like Dumb and Dumber last week is Billy Madison and Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
I don't need to ask you if you've seen those because
you
we've probably talked about each of those movies
a lot,
30 times in the last 5-6 years. So
have you taken Jack through the Chris Farley lineup yet?
His only exposure to Chris Farley, actually hitting on Chris Farley right there, his only exposure to Chris Farley would be from Billy Madison. Very limited there.
It is. Beverly Hills Ninja. So good.
That would be a good one.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yes.
Hilarious.
I think Chris Farley would hold up forever too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's that same thing like Jim Carrey. He's just such an over-exaggerated character. It's hard to not find that funny.
Yeah. So Billy Madison and Tommy Boy off the table just because it's just
That's fair. That's fair.
just too easy. Okay, so we've got 7. We usually run through 7 when we're on 1995. Last few weeks you've gained momentum.
I have.
Here's what we'll start with 1990. Here's how you've done: 2 for 7, then 1 for 7, but then 4 for 7, 5 of 8, and 3 of 7 last week. So in the last 3, you're averaging more around like that 50%.
Yep. And how many are we doing this week?
We're doing 7. I try to keep 7.
I'm going to say
if
4
possible.
then this
Okay.
week. Just
Go
I
for
got to
it.
get back on
Just over 50,
Get
yeah.
the momentum going here again.
Okay, so 1995. Have you seen it, Tommy? 7.
Yes, I have actually. I've seen 7 multiple times. I actually owned that DVD.
Okay.
even. I think it was one of those DVDs when you go to Sam Goody back in the day.
Yep.
And they had a DVD bin, and this was like $3. And it's like, oh, this looks cool. I get this, and yeah, great movie.
I figured I kind of felt like we've talked about something that we've.
What's in the box?
Yeah. But everyone knows that, right? Even if you haven't seen the movie.
I don't know.
Like
maybe.
you're just aware of that peripherally. If you're like
that is one of the best crime thrillers ever, though,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's up there.
Yeah.
If you're talking crime thrillers, it has to be top 10.
Yeah. Side note on The Wire, I finally almost watched The Wire. I literally was like I went to HBO and I was like, I think I might watch The Wire tonight. I'm kind of thinking I watched something, and then I saw the Band of Brothers thing, and I'm like,
I did see right there.
I really would prefer to watch Band of Brothers for like the 10th. I've probably watched.
Have you actually?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have.
The first time I watched it, we watched it in high school, like in my history teacher, like instead of when he didn't want to teach, he would just let us watch Band of Brothers. So that the first time I saw it would have been in like 2004 or 2005. And since then, I have watched that front to back probably close to 10 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
I've
really
watched the first.
Good.
Is there 10 episodes? I think 9, 10.
Something like that.
I've gotten through the first 3.
Okay.
I was pulling my wife along with me to watch it.
I could see.
And after
her,
3, she's like,
my wife doesn't like it.
she's like,
I watch it by
I
myself.
can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then I never went back.
And I don't.
I was
know-
enjoying it a lot though. It was really good.
Oh, I'm not any. Like, I was in the military, Army vet.
Oh yeah,
and
I know.
stuff.
You never shut up about it.
Well, see, my point is I do shut up about it, but there is something I do really enjoy good military
Yeah.
film stuff.
Oh.
Like, and I don't know if
Military-
it's because I have that point of reference. Or like,
But when military movies are good, they're some of the best.
I
'Cause
agree.
There's not many movies that make the stakes feel higher than military movies.
Yeah, and
you know?
Band of Brothers is so good, and it tied in with being a well-told true story about this group of guys. It's just like crazy good and emotional.
Yeah.
And
I kind of forgot about that even until you had that in the
Yeah.
Discord. I should revisit that.
so I would prefer to watch Band of Brothers for a 10th time than give
Well,
the Wire.
you're also
it's daunting.
It's a much
actually,
less
though.
daunting task
That's why I'm
looking
like-
at 10 hours versus like 70.
That's why it's too daunting for
But
me to start
the
it.
only thing that's nice about it is you now know that I don't have to ever think about deciding what to watch because this is just what's
This
on.
is what I.
This is what's
This
on
is
the
what I
table for the
watch
next
now.
year. Or yeah,
this is the thing. This is the show that I watch.
yeah.
now.
And then once you really get into it, it's it's just like Game of Thrones or any good show. Once you get into it, you don't have to be spurred along. It does
Right.
it for you. It's got you pulled in.
I don't want to go through watching those
And the
first 10
yeah,
episodes
the
of like
additional
getting
hurdle-
into it.
the
I
additional
don't
hurdle
want to have
wires.
to get into it.
You do
yeah.
have 10 episodes
Yeah.
of getting into it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
It's just the price to pay.
Like I don't want to. Like I couldn't make myself sit and watch that first episode because I have that feeling like I don't know anything about this. Like none of the characters mean anything.
Well,
to me.
I know, but you have to watch the first 10 because
Yeah.
it does just kind of lay the foundation for the whole thing. I mean, that
sounds
the
like
first
a lot of work.
10. The first 10 is way more about what it takes to get a wire going. A phone
Right.
wire phone tap. And then after that, they don't have to spend all that time in the future episodes because they've talked about everything that involves in that, and the characters have been introduced. So now season 2 comes, you know what it takes to get surveillance on people, you know who the characters are, and they can just skip past all that and get to the show.
Sounds
now.
like a lot of prerequisite homework you have to do in
It
order
is.
to be entertained.
It is. It's the anticipation. It builds up to a crazy reward, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Something to think about.
Keep considering
Something
it.
to think about
Yeah.
for the future.
So far, you're 1 for 1, but we have had really good Wire and Band of Brothers talk.
We have.
We have
I almost
re-
forgot what we were doing here.
We've legitimately talked about The Wire so many times on the show now, and like had real conversations about it, and I still haven't seen a single episode of it.
It's the amazing part of it.
Okay, one for
It
one.
did actually make me think, though, you were talking about how you like Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Because it's just
So
all
good.
these
Yeah.
stories, and you never even, a lot of times, how you won't hear from people, and sometimes not even sometimes, huge chunks of the time, you never even know who the main character is. The
That
Wire
is The
does
Wire.
that same thing.
Yeah.
It's that exact same thing, where some people are the main character for episodes or seasons, and then the next season comes, and you see that person never. And you
Yeah.
think, are they even in the show anymore? And then the next season comes back, and they're a main character again. It's part of the beauty of it. And it's also much like the Game of Thrones, where they have no problem killing off main characters and all that
Right,
stuff too.
right.
So, another thing to think about there.
I'll consider I'm going to be thinking about it as I watch Band of Brothers here.
Yeah. That's a good time to think about.
And then I'm going to watch Generation Kill again after I finish Band of Brothers. 'Cause I've
Yeah, well,
only
you don't
seen
want
that
to
a few
rush
times.
into any of this. It's a big commitment.
Okay, one for one.
I'm glad you repeated the story.
Have you seen it? Clueless.
Okay, I know for sure I've seen parts of this. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think if I've ever actually seen the whole thing. I feel like I have seen the whole thing, but it's so long ago that
Yeah. It was at least for
like
to
if I saw this
1995.
movie, it was either when I was in middle school or like a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Um,
You feel like that's enough to say yes on that one?
well, it wasn't. Do you remember the lines and the plot to
Right.
the movie? It's have you
No.
seen it? Boy, this is the closest I've ever felt on a tiebreaker. Because part of me
Yeah.
deep down says I have seen this, but I can't remember hardly anything about that movie other than they're in like Southern California, aren't they?
Yeah. They're, I don't know, rich girls.
yeah, like rich
that
in high
driving
school.
around, like totally.
I'll just say no because there's so much I can't remember, even though I feel like I have seen this movie
Okay.
before.
Going with no. 1 for 2. Next one. I'll be curious. I'm curious to hear the answer to this one.
Clueless too?
No, that wasn't in 1995. We'll get to that one. This one maybe will hurt people's feelings if it's a no. You know, it's in that level of like,
Yeah.
it's like, how has he not seen
It's
that?
making me feel like it's gonna be a no.
Right. Well, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's a no. Have you seen it, Braveheart?
I have seen Braveheart.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't you think that'd
Yeah,
be one if you
I
haven't
can
seen
see
it?
how-
People are like, how have you not watched Braveheart?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep. Yes, I have seen Braveheart.
Don't quote me on this. I think it's not historically accurate. They were not wearing kilts at that point of history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
I think that they were not.
they had moved on from that.
No, I don't think they.
Oh, that
had
hadn't
moved to
started
kilts
yet. Oh,
I think so I've heard something before about that being historically
Interesting.
inaccurate. Do you like Braveheart?
yeah. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
good movie.
I haven't seen it for quite a while.
It's. I believe I watched that.
It'd be daunting for me to start.
I
that
actually
movie.
think we watched that movie my freshman year of college. We had like an art history class. Don't know why, but I believe we watched that movie in that class.
Okay,
And I think that's the only time I've ever seen the whole thing front to back.
because it's art.
It is a work of art.
So 2 for 3. This is probably my favorite one on the list for here. Has he seen it? Heavyweights.
Yeah, I've seen Heavyweights many,
I figured
many
you've
times.
seen Heavyweights, but I didn't think it was so much a home run that it was worthy of the exclusion list.
Oh yeah, I had a friend in high school that thought Heavyweights was like, I remember watching it growing up and it was funny, but then when I got to high school, I had a friend that really liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You really like this movie? And then when he started quoting all the lines and making us watch it, then it just got to be hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Part of it is the lines part
It
of it
is.
too. Like what?
Devil log. And I'll be doing this by August 23rd or whatever when he's flipping around on the log. And
Ryan always has a good laugh about when they're they're in, is it the Chipmunks bunk?
yeah, Chipmunks download. And
And
they
then
get
they
all
have,
their
then they have like
these salamis off my
jelly
back.
beets
Yeah, he's got-
strapped to his back.
Just the most over the top.
I've
thing.
heard Ryan several times say Chipmunks
Yeah,
download.
he loves that part of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So 3 for 4.
Oh, I'm feeling strong, Uncle Tony.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it Lars? Is that what his name is?
Lars,
Yeah.
who we've also discussed is not Jack.
Yeah. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Possibly doing a segment of people we thought were jacked, but
Yeah.
actually were not jacked
Yeah,
at
the
all.
more I think about it, I know you've seen Heavyweights, but I still I feel like that could be on that wasn't an exclusionary item because of its nature. Okay. 3 for 4. It's going to get interesting here. Have you seen it, Apollo 13?
I have not seen Apollo 13.
I figured you had.
Kind of feel like that's also one of those movies where it was a really big movie in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never saw it.
Yeah. Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, the third guy.
And the other guy.
He's deceased, I think. He was in Twister?
Oh, yeah.
Or no, was it Twister, the one where it's Dorothy that they put?
Yep.
Have you seen that? You probably haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
I have seen Twister, actually.
Okay. Is that Twister?
I remember watching that and being terrified because Twister was probably about 95, 96, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe 97. I remember watching that and then being terrified of living in the Midwest every summer because a tornado was going to come and murder me in my house.
That guy.
Is it Randy Quaid?
I think that's it. Or something like that.
I don't even really know if he was in that movie, and I couldn't tell you for sure what he looks like, but I feel like that's the right name.
That also feels right. If it's not him, it should be. So you haven't seen Apollo 13?
I have not, no.
But you're aware of Apollo
I'm very
13.
aware of it, yeah. I'd totally watch it if I had the time and it was on, but no, have never seen it.
I like it. I
think it'd be a good movie.
I got into enjoying watching space stuff for a while, and I watched Apollo 13 a few times there, and good flick. Tom Hanks, I enjoy his performances usually.
Yeah, he has a pretty long list of.
Yep. I don't know that this could go 50-50, coin toss. A comedy from 1995. Has he seen it? Major Pain.
I have seen Major Pain. I remember when I watched it and everything. I've only seen it once, but I do remember it. Yeah, I have seen it. I don't remember a ton from the movie though. I probably watched it that came out in 95.
I remember he sleeps with his eyes open.
Is that what it was?
Because he's like a drill sergeant or
Yeah.
something like that. And he's got like the gold tooth.
Yep.
It came out in 1995.
I probably watched that movie in like 97 or 98. I remember watching it with Ryan, but I just don't remember many details of it.
He was very much a hard ass. And
Don't they go to a dance at some point?
yeah, I think like he gets
and
put in a scenario where he has to be like softer, but he's like such a stiff that it's like these like
yeah, and I couldn't remember if it was that or if he was actually a good dancer. If what the
that's
deal was.
possible.
But yeah, I do remember that movie.
Okay,
though.
so that's a yes.
That's one of those movies I remember previews a lot for some reason.
Yeah,
you'd rent a movie and then you'd have all these previews before the movie would started, even on the movie you rented.
You're 4 for 6.
All right.
If you hit this last one, that would give you your best ratio ever at 5 for 7. So a lot riding on this
There's
one.
everything riding on this one.
And you know how we usually end in an Arnold movie? From 1995. This is not an Arnold movie. Today we're going to end in a Pierce Brosnan flick.
Okay.
We're going to.
I've seen some with him in them.
If you've seen some, I think you've seen this one. So, has he seen it? GoldenEye 007.
I have seen GoldenEye because I was.
You had to be up to date on the game.
Yeah. Oh, I was such a fan of the game. You're like, oh, there's a movie based on this game.
Yeah.
I got to get to the bottom of this.
Yes.
That was so.
All-time great game.
GoldenEye the game is
that's like in my top 10 of games all time. It might be in like my Mount Rushmore of games.
Oh, we spent so much time playing 4-player split screen GoldenEye. It just never got old.
That to me is like there's nothing much better than that.
It was so much fun. All the dumb stuff you would do where you would just play these multiplayer levels.
The stack, all the different
complex.
Levels. Yeah. And like some of the levels, it's just the same level, only you can also go in the basement.
Basically,
it's like
and it's like, oh, let's do big head mode. Oh, let's do golden gun mode. Oh, let's do proximity mines. And it's on the ones where the doors open. But you could also look at everyone else's screen and know where everyone was at all times too.
Yep.
So it was always this battle of getting mad at everyone for looking at your screen. Yep. So I think
playing
that
on
was
the tiniest television.
Yeah, the tiniest, a 13-inch screen split into 4. So
like, how can I even?
It's like everyone's playing on an iPhone, but they're also sitting 10 feet away,
all right in a line with 4 of us. That is like the best video game. There's nothing.
We played so much of that. The slappers.
Oh yeah,
you come in, and I always thought that the sniper rifle looked like a squirt gun, a super soaker.
Yeah,
I always thought that.
the playing the golden gun mode. That's it's like a mad dash to get this stupid golden pistol, and like the golden gun mode was it takes one shot and you're dead no matter what, right? Yeah,
That was really fun. That was the
or
whole
like the one gun to me, I can't remember. It was black. It always looked like a black colored pencil to
was
me.
it the AK-47? I think
That's probably what it was. Doesn't it look like a black colored pencil?
It looked really weird.
Yeah.
The I got to see these now. Wasn't there a laser too? Wasn't that an option you could turn on in the Moonraker? I think.
Okay.
Um,
What character would you pick on?
I remember being Odd Job a fair amount.
Odd Job was a fun one. He's short too, so it's a
Yep, it was a little bit of an
target.
advantage. Here we go. Here's the. Oh, I'm just looking here. Oh, okay, here. Oh, the Clob. I remember that thing, the Clob.
Yeah, like and then you're double wielding.
I forgot you could do that. Oh, the shotgun had the shells on the gun there. You could see them.
Look at that. That looks like a black colored pencil. Look that.
I think that's the AK-47. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Looks like you're holding a black colored pencil. Tell me if you can.
And do you see the sniper rifle on the far left? That looks like a super soaker, right?
Yeah.
I think it has to be the scope.
And is that like a 44 Magnum? Or is that what that one pistol? Like, because you'd shoot that pistol.
Was that what it was?
Something like that. But that one always sucked because you take one shot and it goes like this.
All the recoil,
and then it takes forever to be able to shoot.
Yeah. There's the golden guns right there.
Yeah. Double golden guns.
That's good stuff.
Did you ever play the regular?
I actually did like the story. Yeah. I thought it was really fun. Yeah, I remember doing that. But so talking of this is, I feel like that's what introduced me to James Bond.
Yeah,
because I was probably, what year was this?
1995.
And if the game came out around then, I was probably like 7.
Yep.
So getting introduced to James Bond, and I remember renting Goldeneye, watching Goldeneye, and being like, "Oh, this is cool." And by the way, there's like 50 other James Bond movies. Mm-hmm. And then you start watching them, and you'd usually be at someone's house, and like their dad would be there. And it was always weird because, why is this guy always having sex with all these women while he's like trying to kill people? And then you're just, those scenes always happen to be.
Oh, you summed up the entire plot of every movie. James Bond having a lot of sex with women while he's trying to kill people.
He has to kill someone, but at the same time, he has to have sex with a bunch of people first.
And he might even have to have sex with the person he has to kill. It's not completely unlikely.
His character flaw.
Or the person that he has to have sex with might be needing to kill him.
Yeah, and they're also going to have some really weird nicknames too.
Yes.
But there was always a parent around. It felt like for one of those scenes.
I feel uncomfortable. I don't know where to look.
There's boobs here, and I'm just a kid, and your dad's here too. This is really weird. That was James Bond, though. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah, and with our age, if you're our age, I think Pierce Brosnan probably was your first exposure to
He wasn't James Bond very long, though, was he?
I don't think he's
I think
widely revered as one of the top James Bonds either. Do you think?
I don't think so.
I think he is too far on the spectrum of like fancy British James Bond. Whereas Daniel Craig is much more like blue collar, I like this guy, James Bond.
I guess I'll just get ahead of you here.
Okay.
I've never seen a Daniel Craig James Bond movie.
Oh, they're good.
I know they are, and I'd love to watch. I've never seen a single one.
Some of those are like just outside of, you just even peel away James Bond completely. They're just
great movies.
Right. Yeah. I would say like maybe even like just straight up great movies. Some better than others. And I don't remember which are which. And like Casino Royale is a good movie.
I totally believe it.
And you don't need to, the good part about James Bond is
they're not really connected.
I guess they are. Like the Daniel Craig ones, I guess are a little bit connected, but it's not really all that relevant.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan played James Bond in GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day. 4 movies.
That's quite a few.
Did you know that GoldenEye game, I think, was made by like 4 people? Pretty amazing, huh?
That's probably why it was 4 players, so they could all play.
They're like, I don't... Coincidence? I think not.
Like, that had to be up there with all-time selling Nintendo 64 games.
Should we find out?
Yeah. What's your other guesses for...
Mario or Zelda.
For sure.
Have to be up there.
I don't like, what was it? Mario 64 or what?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was that good.
Oh, I thought we got it for Christmas one year,
Okay.
and I thought it was just the most insane thing ever.
I always thought the
my head
gameplay
exploding.
was like, after I was used to NES Mario, then Super Nintendo Mario, then going to this, I was like, I don't like this. This is like the 3D world is just.
It blew my mind.
right.
All right, Super Mario 64, best-selling game
Yeah, that makes
on the
sense.
N64, 11.9 million copies. I wonder, like, that doesn't seem like that many. Maybe it is a lot. I don't
Super
know.
Smash Brothers. Was,
So yeah,
pretty fun.
Mario Kart 64 was number 2 with almost 10 million,
That makes sense. I guess,
and GoldenEye was number 3 with 8 million.
so only behind the Mario games.
yeah, and
which-
GoldenEye was ahead of Legend of Zelda, which was number 4, and Super Smash Brothers was number 5.
Super Smash Brothers was a lot of fun too.
Oh, we played that so much. And
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda, I played that game a ton. Pokemon Stadium was 6. I didn't play that much.
Never played that before.
Donkey Kong 64, I didn't ever really get into Donkey Kong. Star Fox, I love Star Fox. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I played that game so much. You just do pod racing the whole time.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was the best thing ever. I loved it. Couldn't
Does
get enough
that
of
get
it.
us to 10 or where?
That's number 13, actually.
Oh, okay.
Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, that was number 18. I also loved that game too. That was very, very fun. Did you play much Mario Party ever?
No.
Oh, we played a lot of Mario Party.
No.
Oh, and WCW NWO Revenge. Did you ever play that one?
Yes.
Yes.
And I always
That-
liked that.
that was
wrestling
very
games were
fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm assuming you could in that one, but when you could bring out tables and chairs and ladder
Yeah.
matches
Yeah.
and
Is
cage
1080
matches.
snowboarding anywhere on the list?
Yep,
I really
1080
like 1080.
is number 24, which NWO WCW that was number 27.
How about NFL Blitz? Does that show up
that's
anywhere?
got to be in there.
Because that was a really good really fun game.
Yep. Tony Hawk's was number 31. Cruising USA, number 30 on the list. Turok, did you ever play that one? Dinosaur Hunter? Yep.
Yeah.
That's in there.
I don't remember thinking it was fun, but I do.
God, what did you tell me? Blitz?
NFL Blitz.
I don't see it on the list. That kind of surprises me. It
Yeah,
seemed
I
like-
guess the sport game appeals to a narrower.
Yeah,
market
that has to
than,
be what it is.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be true if you're talking about Madden. I suppose Madden is
I don't see Madden on this list either.
right.
Kobe Bryant in NBA courtside is on the list, though.
NFL Blitz had to have.
Namco Museum 64 is on here.
So you finished 5 for 7, set a new PR. Congrats on that.
Awesome.
We'll
Get
see
better.
next week. We can see what 1996 brings.
I'm kind of riding some momentum now.
Yeah.
I got some.
I think we're getting into a better
It's
years
into
here,
like
too.
when I was growing up now, actually watching movies.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go back in the catalog too
I
far.
think
here.
we'll do a bell curve probably at if
Yeah,
if
at some
go
point it's
later
definitely-
than 1990 it gets the farther.
I think
into
it's
the
going to
bell curve.
really taper off about 2012-ish,
Yeah.
I think.
Mine would too. I'm
When I
afraid.
started living life a little more.
Yeah.
Didn't sit around watching movies quite as much.
right. Right. But for now, we've got some time till we get there. We're getting right into the meat of the.
The heavy hitters.
Yep. Should we bring this one on home?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner. What is it? Tanner _ Baird?
I think so. That sounds
Tanner
right.
_ Baird.
Sounds right.
Okay. But really, I don't care about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.